Fishing Gurus podcast.
What's it like hearing your own voice, Grant?
It's weird.
Do you reckon?
I mean, it's bad enough being a brummie anyway, but like listening to it back, it's like,
We didn't want to say it, mate, so, you know.
yeah, well, I'd rather be a brummie than a cockney.
Could be worse. You could be a Yorkshireman.
Well,
There you
I
go.
don't mind Yorkshireman.
All right. What do you make of all these bannings of casters and things that have been going on recently?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I haven't really got involved. I have put a few little snippets up on my Facebook page saying that you can use casters here at Moorlands.
Yeah.
Just saying, look, it's up to the fishery. There's a reason behind everything. In my opinion, I think it should have been limited, not banned. Because already I think Herrenbrook they were doing a vote to see who wanted it and who didn't want it, and then you got people voting that don't go there, and it just causes controversy, I think. And I think as a fishery owner now myself, if you make a decision, you've got to stick by it. Because if you let the anglers rule you, your business won't last. That's my only opinion. But like Neil, good friend of mine at Lindome,
Neil Grant,
and Aaron, what they've done at that fishery is phenomenal. And if that's their decision, then people have to stick by it. The only way people will vote with their feet.
What do you think the reason for it coming about in first place is, Grant? Like banning casters in competitions or banning, volumes of bait like that?
I think people can buy the match.
Right.
So if someone has got a bait sponsorship or they can get casters cheaper with maggots, and they'll have an endless supply. Whereas your normal average guy could probably only afford 3 or 4 pints. And I think people can buy the match that way. And I think it's a good idea. I'd certainly limit them. You can still use a gallon at my place, but that's all you are allowed.
8 pints.
You're allowed
of
8
bait.
pints of bait. You're allowed a kilo worms on top, and whatever it is, bread or what. I can't remember the rules. Can't remember the rules at my own for sure. But that's what I do. I limit it. Like maggots, for instance. I know that's just going off the subject a minute. Maggots is probably the worst thing, right? Because the skins stay on the bottom.
What the worst things for the lake?
For the lake,
fishery?
I think. If you've got a fishery that's allowing gallons and gallons of maggots, and you've got 100 people fishing there every week, that's a lot of skins sitting on the bottom. And all of a sudden, you're going to have a ammonia problem. I'm no expert, but this is what I've been told. And when you look at it, you have a look at when someone's been using lots of maggots. Have a look in your keep net when you go to weigh in.
I've had it. Now you mention it, all little dead skins that have been pooed out.
Exactly that. And sweet corn's exactly the same. We limit maggots and we limit sweet corn. So it's a personal thing for the fishery. That's up to them. It's their rules. And if people don't like it, there's no point in going on Facebook and doing a full page of what you think and why they shouldn't do so. It's not going to change anything. I mean, it looks like it's changed Herrenbrook, but it's not my business. That's their business, and they can do what they like. It's a lovely fishery, and I know they've got new owners there now. But it don't make a difference. You can argue all day long on Facebook and run anyone down you like. The decision is the decision.
Yeah, that's
but
up to the fishery.
I wouldn't have banned it. I would have put a limit on it, so you can still use them. But you're only allowed 4 points.
I suppose if you do put a limit on it, that's then got to be enforced as well.
Well, yeah.
Do you enforce
yours?
Yours?
I do. I don't check every week, but you never know when I'm going to come round. And trust me, I've already caught people.
Have you really?
Oh, yeah, and I've kicked people off. On qualifiers as well.
What, like big money
Maver
qualifiers?
matches, yeah. Don't need to mention, I don't even know the names of the people. But, and I'm not money orientated, right? Before anyone says, yeah, it's fishery pellets and that. I see who comes in my shop. I am not stupid, right? I know who buys pellets and who don't, right? And if you don't buy pellets, you're going to get a visit from me. So anyway, these 2 guys come in my tackle shop, didn't buy pellets, walked out. So I did target them because they've never been to my fishery before, right? So I went and found this one, big bodybuilder. I'm like, okay, this could get a bit tasty. So I've walked up to him, I looked on his platform, and I'm like, all right there, pal. I said, fishery pellets. No, he said, they're my own. I said, yeah, I can see that. You have to use fishery pellets here. Oh, and he's like, started to go off on one. And I said, listen, it's up to you. You either come and buy some or pack up and go home.
This is in a match?
In a match, before the start.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair play, though. You're giving him an option.
Giving him an option. And then it's like, well, how much are they? Well, it doesn't matter how much they are. They're £3, but come and get some. And I did shout to everybody else then on the lakes. I said, listen, you need to get yourself pellets, lads, because I'm coming round to check everybody. All right? So he started to be a bit lippy towards me, and I'm like, listen, the best thing you can do, without me being disrespectful to you, is shut your mouth or go home. Because you're the one who's breaking the rules, not me. Right? I said, now I'm going to go and find your mate. Let me tell you something. You wouldn't get your breath how much bait he had on his platform.
Honestly?
Honest to God. I'm not even exaggerating.
So he's over the 8-pint limit?
I'm walking up to him and he's mixing 2 to 3 pints of paste, which isn't mine. You have to use fishery paste. Right? I only allow a pint. And I looked down at him and I went, you know what there, pal? He went, yeah. I said, pack up. No respect for me, my rules, anybody else whatsoever. I said, no, pack up, you're going home. So then I went to Phil Briscoe and said, look, I've just disqualified someone for it. He said, no, it's your fishery, Grant, that's fair play. But fair play to the guy. He come and apologised to me after, because I drew next to Des ship on that day as well. And the guys come up, and even Des said to me, he said to him, look, I get free pellets. If I get caught using anybody else's, my own pellets, imagine what it would happen to me. You know, Des is one of the biggest high-profile anglers out there. Imagine him getting caught using the wrong bait.
Like Tiger Woods cheating in the biggest golf competition. Or...
It's the same for me. If I go anywhere, you know, Lindholm, whatever, I have to buy their pellets. He might knock me a bit off because he's my pal. And I do for people, you know.
Yeah, your regulars or
your
regulars.
Friends. I do it for certain people. You know, people who look after me or, you know, whatever they give me, and I say, yeah, you can have them. But anyway, the point is, I do check. There's no point in having rules if you're not going to police them. Now, you don't have to police them every week, because any fishery owner knows who isn't buying pellets. You know, I won't tell you what fishery it is. There's a fishery that they're all doing whatever they want to do. It's not policed. Well, why are you going there? You're getting cheated every week by anglers. You're supposed to be your friends.
One thing I will say, if I was any angler though, and a fishery owner was coming round to check, I'm saying that every single angler on that lake is super vigilant with rules. But I go to so many fisheries and fish so many matches on different venues where I have never been checked for anything.
Yeah.
Not at all, right? I'd never do anything in a million years. Couldn't live with myself doing it.
Yeah.
But just that fact that no one checks on so many occasions. No one. No, like never get checked. Hardly ever. I think it drives me mad that there's all sorts of weird rules, and obviously, like you say, in our position, you have to stick to them.
Yeah.
But there's this thing in the back of your mind that says, they don't come and check this, people will be trying it on.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm sure it goes off.
I've seen it, mate. I check. We have, doesn't matter who it is. I'm not one for bringing up names, but we have a club, come on. The first time I ever checked him, right? First bloke I ever checked, barb duck.
No.
On both his rigs. And his excuse was, I never knew.
Of course
I went somewhere else yesterday, and where are you going with barb ducks? The same bloke, I caught him again with a gallon of maggots. You're only allowed 4 pints. And I said, you probably think I'm picking on you, but you're the one who's breaking the rules, not me. And then everybody cheered when he left. So he's been cheating, and they've caught him since. I think he's left. He's been kicked out of the club.
That shows, though, doesn't it? It's obviously in his
nature. It's in his system to cheat.
Try and pull a fast in.
Yeah, and it's like you said, if people aren't getting checked, they will be bending the rules.
Yeah, they will.
100%. Now, I don't mind someone having half a pint or maybe a pint, a little bit more than they should have. I can deal with that.
Piled up. Yeah, it's a bit heat on your tray.
Do you know what I mean? We've all done it. Yeah, white takers. You know, I've seen people standing on their boxes, getting meat in, just so they can get a bit more meat in. I've seen it. It's funny. I don't mind a bit of that.
If it's a pint tub with a lid on, there's no arguing.
Exactly that.
And again, if you enforce it, there's no arguing. That's my pint tub with a lid on and my bait's in it.
Yeah.
There's still no arguing with it.
No, there's not, no. You got your lid on it.
Yeah.
And I don't mind, I don't mind people using a little bit more than they're supposed to. I don't mind that. You know. But I do mind when people blatantly break the rules and they're getting away with it. if you come to my fishery, it's the same level playing field for everybody. Mm-hmm. Now, whether you like it or whether you don't like it, that's my rules. So at least you coming to me, it's fair.
I wouldn't want an angry Grant on the case either. I just wouldn't want it.
Can you imagine if you've seen him?
You'd be like-
I like the bit where you said, right, now I'm going to find your mate. And I just got this picture of him like on the other side of the lake, like, no.
Yeah, steaming over like. Yeah. But listen, I people, I'll do anything for anyone, me. But if you come to my fishery, just have some respect for me.
Absolutely.
I'm an angler, and I've took on that place to make it better.
I want to talk to you about that a bit later. Like, obviously, you've been on both sides of the fence, and we will get onto that.
Yeah.
Definitely, like top flight match fishing, and now you're on the other side as a, premier fishery owner, manager, and running it. But welcome to the Fishing Gurus podcast, mate.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Great to have you on.
It's a pleasure to be here. I watch them all anyway, so it's like, I can't wait.
Do you watch? Which is your favourite one so far?
The one for me which stands out more is Dean's, I have to say.
Dean Barlow.
Dean Barlow, yeah. I mean, it was like a whole day, wasn't it? I mean, it went on forever.
Well, you were here for 2 weeks doing that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Nando's and everything.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. and I'll tell you, it was quite emotional.
Yeah.
Dean's was quite emotional.
He's an emotional character.
Yeah,
now,
he is,
isn't he?
And he's got a story. He'll make one story last an hour, can't he? He's a talker. But I love Dean to bits. And Dean's stood out for me. Out of all of them, they've all been great, but Dean's for me was the one.
Nice to hear, mate.
That's great.
Really appreciate people like you watching them as well.
I love
it.
It
Means a lot. That
it's
does.
brilliant, and it's great to be here. So thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. What's it like having Moorlands, mate? Because I know you grew up. We've talked about it already.
Yeah.
Moorlands Farm in the Midlands, iconic venue, and you've took it on. But that's a place where you sort of started your early match fishing career, isn't it?
Yeah. When I say it for sale, I was just in the transition of moving from Shatterford Lakes. And I thought it's sort of gone off the map, but that's somewhere where I grew up as an angler. And I just kept thinking to myself, can I make a difference? Is there enough anglers out there that I can bring back and get Moorlands back on the map again and get brilliant matches like when John had it. But when John had it, there wasn't many fisheries.
Is it John Talbot?
John Talbot, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I make a difference? And I ummed and ahed and I went for it. And it took me 2 years to get it with COVID and all the rest of it. And it was happening, then it weren't, and it was happening, then it weren't. So yeah, it got a lot of memories from me. So it was, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it.
You've got it now.
And I've got it.
Yeah,
and,
it's going well though. I hear
going.
a lot about it, Grant.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of people talking about it, and I see it on social media a lot. It's a bit far for me to go and do my matches.
Yeah,
but I've never been to Moorlands, and I need to come and see the fishery.
you need
Toby's
to.
been, hasn't
Yeah, I did the live match with Mikey down there. Mate, it was brilliant, and it was a wicked day filming with Mikey. He's a proper character as well.
Yeah, he's a
he?
character. Yeah,
I need to come and see you.
Yeah, you
Need
must
to
come down,
fishing.
mate. Yeah, I mean, we obviously, we've done a lot of work, and I'm videoing it and photographing everything that we've done, and what we are transforming it.
How different is it now to when you used to match fish it in them early days?
Oh, it's a lot different. When I used to fish it, my first match there, I couldn't even drive, so I was probably 15, 16.
Right.
I had a lift there, and I think I had an old Browning rod and Shakespeare Super Team pole, stuff like that. There was, on a weekend, let's put it this way, if you didn't book in on a Tuesday, you weren't getting on the weekend.
What, on the match?
On the match.
Right.
Yeah, it was 80 to 100 on a Saturday and a Sunday, and in the summer, it was the same in the afternoon.
Flipping heck.
Oh, it was mega, mate.
And what sort of anglers went? Who went who
So-
I know or who the listeners would
So-
know?
Kenny Giles,
Right.
my hero.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Downs, Dave Hinton, bless him, has passed away now, quite a few years ago. Dave Harrell,
Yeah?
Gary Varden, he's passed away as well. Good friend of mine, taught me a lot. Learned a lot from Gary. I owe him a lot. He was one of the best shallow fishing anglers in the country, if not the best at the time. He used to fish for starlets. I think Mark Downs used to go there a little bit, but some real top anglers that used to go there. And I was a kid, so I learned just watching them. If I weren't catching, I'd sit behind them and watch them. For me, it's sort of having a magazine and reading a book. That don't teach you nothing really. Sitting behind the actual person who's doing that job, you can learn more off them. Dave Harrell. In fact, I think it's still in my mum's house. I had a float box. We've all had a float box, haven't we? Like that, but not as good. And I drew next to Dave, and Dave used to fish like a stick float, shallow, maggots, spraying maggots. Fantastic. And he even signed my float box for me.
Did he?
I said to him, I went up to him and said, Dave, can you sign this for me?
And you still got it?
Still got it. I think it's at my mum's house in the loft.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah,
and what sort of methods, like then, you're talking the very, very early days of commercial fishing then, Grant. What were the weights like to win, and what techniques did you learn and use back commercial fishing then?
So a lot of it was obviously in the summer, it was always shallow fishing, and worms and squats. In fact, Moorlands started off really being more of a bream weights. There was big bream in there and stuff. And a guy, he's moved to Thailand now, I believe, Ricky Haynes, used to go there and do really well by putting lots of squats in.
I didn't know it were more breamy.
Yeah, it was more breamy to start with. And the weights weren't fantastic. I mean, in there underneath our seats in the tackle shop, we've got it going back to at least 2010. All the records of everything that's been caught there. And when you look back, 60, 70 pound was a great weight. Do you know what I mean? There weren't no 200-300 pound weights then. But obviously, John, he had access to so many fish through a friend of his. So he just got better and better and better and better. And it was just, I don't know, it must have been 20 times overstocked. It should have been.
It got prolific very quickly.
Yeah. And then obviously meat and corn. And the only thing for me back then was you're only a 5 point limit.
Was that the fishery rules?
Yeah. So a pint of meat was a pint. A tin of meat was a pint. Corn was the same, and then you allowed 3 pints of pellet or whatever. It was weird.
Less bait than
you're allowed now. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's the first thing I changed when I moved there. I had it sort of white takers rules really.
Well, I'd like to talk to you about all them rules in a bit when we get on to why. Because have you come from a fishing family, Grant? I don't really know much about your upbringing or back. I've spent loads of time with you. White Acres, normally propping bar up, to be honest. But like, what's your background? You know, from being a kid and schooling and coming up into fishing.
Okay.
Are you from a fishing family?
No, not at all. No, my dad didn't fish. It was when I used to live in a place called Rubery. My next door neighbour was a fisherman, and he used to run the news agents, which was just below us. And I was 8 years old, and he said, "Do you fancy coming fishing with me?" Yeah, I'll come. It was at Fladbury on the Avon, and I just loved it. And he used to just take me after school and stuff in the summer, and I just picked it up and progressed. And then
you started on a natural venue.
Just on a natural venue, on the River Avon, yeah.
Beautiful.
And my sister then was with a lad who was a fisherman, and then so he used to take me and my dad, and we used to go to Bidford. And there was a place. It was a right-hand bank. It was like a big beach. It was. So you just wade out and you'd fish the far bank, trot a big waggler down it, and we used to catch chub. We used to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning just to go and get that peg. It was phenomenal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I started, and like I say, my dad started to come with me and take me. But my dad used to chuck a feeder out and just sit there and
leg on
he was
a
there
bit.
with me, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I started.
And how did it get into matches from there, sort of thing?
So obviously I was only 8 then. So obviously as we progressed, I had to leave Rubery. My mum and dad rented, and they were offered a house in Hales Owen when I was 14, and I had to move. So all the lads I grew up with from nursery, you know, I had to leave them behind.
That's an hard time to make a big move like that.
That was massive.
Right in the middle of your school years.
Yeah,
isn't it?
well, it was just before we just take our GCSEs and stuff like that, and our exams. And bear in mind, this school, I never had a day off. I loved it. We knew everybody in the whole school.
But were you a good lad at school?
Yeah, I was a good lad, yeah. Yeah, there was no trouble at all. And I knew everybody, everyone, there was no, fighting after school and all the rest of it. That never happened. Do you know what I mean? It's fantastic. We used to walk to school every day, and and then when I had to move, it was just a nightmare for me.
Really?
I moved to Halsey. We never knew anybody. All my friends are like, I don't know how far away it was, 10 mile, 12 mile. I couldn't drive. My mum and dad were working, so I couldn't never go back and see them. And then I have to start a new school at 14. Well, you can imagine.
What were that like?
Oh, it's horrendous.
A struggle?
Proper horrendous.
And did you go? Did you
I went to
settle
school,
in,
yeah, and because obviously I had to go to school. I was always a school person. And it was like, the first day I went, it was like brilliant because like I'm the new kid, and all the girls were like, "Oh, who's this handsome fella?" Like,
Obviously, you wouldn't have played on that at all.
Not
would
at
you?
all.
No,
not at all.
no winks or.
No. But then on the other hand, all the lads were like, "Who's this?" All the birds around him, and they were like, "Wait for you after school," and it was horrendous. Do you know what I mean? I was only 14, and yeah, I can look after myself, but when you've got gangs of lads like wanting to beat you up for no reason. It was difficult.
But just because you were the new kid.
Just because I was the new kid, yeah.
That's mental, though.
Horrible.
Isn't it?
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And they never knew me. And even older kids, you know, it was just horrendous. It
Not
was
a very nice environment, that.
terrible. And I never had to have school, ever. I had certificates for being the best student. Never, and I got knocked off a bike when I was, how old was I? I think I was 8 years old. And all my friends come to school, to the hospital to see me. I was nearly killed.
Wow.
Yeah, the scar I got there, I had a fractured skull. I was that far away from
Flipping out.
from being dead. Like,
What, hit with a car?
yeah, some lads were moving off across the road. I jumped on my mate's racer, gone across. Bosh. Now I don't even remember anything, but from what I was told, the car hit me 20 foot up in the air and hit the curb with my head.
Chuffing hell.
My mum said to me when she come around the corner, it looked like someone had got a meat cleaver and just hit me on the head with it. He just gaped open.
Flipping heck.
So yeah, but that's the school it was. My friends come and see me in hospital, and I never had that when I moved. It was just, it was horrendous.
Did it affect your? Because obviously you're in the key years of getting your qualifications and progressing into your career and your work. Like, how did them next few years of school go? Having had that rough environment.
Yeah, it didn't really. I'll be honest with you. I did my school. I wagged off school. I hated school, and you could see the wag lady coming down the road, and I'd be hiding underneath the thing, and it was just horrendous. And I never ever had a day off school. Very sporty. I used to play for the football team and all that. And it was just, I loved it. And then when I went there, I never had any of that. I had to find a new group of friends, got in with the wrong crowd at times, and I never went back for my exams.
So you didn't get any qualifications?
No qualification. Well, I might be an A plus student. I don't know. I never went back for them. So I just wanted to go to work, and I got a job in a warehouse, loading and unloading, lorries and stuff. And I was earning good money.
16 years old,
yeah.
straight from school.
Straight from school.
Got out as soon as you could.
Yeah, I actually went to work with my dad. Dad got me the job.
Ah, right.
And I was there for quite a long time, worked my way up and that. I just wanted to earn money.
Well, things, obviously, that little bit of a rough time there, not very nice at all. But I know you've had some great career. Look at what you're doing now with the fishery. But even before that, you worked in fishing for quite a while, didn't you? How did that come from working in a factory to ending up working in angling?
Right. So I obviously worked for these warehouse companies and that, and then the Van der Line job was maybe coming available to be a wholesaler. And as a kid going into the shops, it was like the Van der Line man would walk in, or the census man dropping all his crown bait off. I wouldn't mind a bit of that, like. So I knew Mark Sawyer, who worked for Van der Line at the time. And I phoned him up and said, look, if this comes available, give me a shout, like. Anyway, it did.
And how old are you at the time now?
I'll be in my 20s. Would I be in my 20s? Late 20s, maybe. Anyway, I got the job, and obviously it's a distribution, so I had to get my own warehouse, buy the stock off them, and then you sell it to the shops. You had your own area. It's like a franchise. And then I added things on. So I did like Vespi.
I remember Vespi.
Vespi, yeah. I used to wholesale that. Octopus. Towards the end, really, of Octopus. Wouldn't minded having that when it first came out, because that was mega.
Everyone had octopus legs, didn't
Everybody.
they? Flipping
and even
heck.
when I got it, it was still good. We used to sell the amount of legs we used to sell, and every tackle shop had it. Used to carry it on my van.
And it mad that's gone now.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Where is Octopus
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Mel Wild it was. I don't know if he's still alive, but he used to do other things. You see, he weren't just Octopus. He used to manufacture like plastics for radiators and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I did carper floats.
Casey Carper.
Steve
Steve
Sanders, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we'll talk about that probably in a bit.
Quite an iconic range of fish.
Yeah.
Them Casey Carper floats,
well,
I'm going to say, were the first super high quality range of floats, I'm saying.
Yeah, fantastic, yeah. And some of the names behind them are anglers.
Go on, give us a
like,
few.
The Razor was Will
Raisin.
Raisin. Bully. Jimmy Bullard.
Oh, yeah.
Silverback Waggler float, me. Just trying to think. He did an ape as well. I'm not sure if that was meant at me as well, but yeah, some of the names.
Where's
for them.
Chimp from? They did a Carper Chimp. That was a popular one.
Yeah, that was probably his most biggest seller. I would have thought. I'm not sure because Chimp, ape, and Silverback are all monkeys, aren't they? So I'm not too sure. You have to get Steve on here and ask him about that.
I'd love to get Steve on. We'll do it.
Yeah,
We'll do it.
Yeah. So yeah, but some of them names were like who's the other one as well? The Gloucester.
Yeah.
The Gloucester Canal. That was
Yeah,
made. That
yeah.
was made for that. So yeah, that brilliant set of floats. I mean, sold a lot of floats. And I did mainline. I had mainline
Right.
for a period of time, and that's about it really. I did a few bits and pieces with other people, but yeah, it was a good time. And then
How long did you do that for, Grant?
about between 10 and 12 years, I did it.
And was it a good living for you?
Yes, but I used to do it myself. And like you imagine, like, we have a delivery from Belgium, all the grain bag, container full. So I used to have my mate Mike Jones. His nickname was Ginge. Like 6 foot. He's got his hands are like that. They're massive. I hope he watches this. Like, but yeah, he used to come and help me. So it'd be two of us doing a full container. I'm not sure how much, 12, 15 ton.
I bet you used to love throwing them boxes about.
But they're big. They're 24 because they were big boxes. They're 24 kilos. These boxes. Do you know what I mean? And we had to sort them out. Then they had to go into the warehouse. We put them all in line. So it was heavy work. Even when I used to have all the stuff from Bait Tech and that, and you know, I had a big 4,000 square foot warehouse myself. Do you know what I mean? So we had a lot of gear. People didn't realise. You know what I mean? So yeah, I had that for probably 12 years.
Probably quite a good time. When were that sort of early 2000s and onwards?
Yeah.
Good time
Good
for
time
fishing.
for fishing. Yeah, good time to have it. If I had it now, I think I'd be struggling.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I do.
What brought that to an end after 10 or 12 years of it being really good? What made it finish?
Sales more so than anything. You know, it's a shame really because you've been with someone for 10 years, and they say to you, your sales aren't as good now these days, and if your sales drop down, you're going to go. Really? I can't sell any more than I'm selling. You know, obviously the company's there to promote it as well. I'm going in the shops every week, and I can't sell any more. I can't sell it to you if you haven't sold it off the shelf the previous week.
I've got 12 bags on shelf,
Exactly.
Grant. I'm all right.
Yeah. A lot of people bought from me because it was me. And that I don't want that to sound big-headed because I got a lot of friends and they try and help you with your business. And it was just slowly and slowly getting worse. And I went to Shatterford then, and I focused on I had a lad running it for me, and it's not me running it. And that's not disrespectful to him because he did a great job for me, but people want to see me, and I was trying to focus, and I thought I could probably make a go of it at Shatterford, but I didn't.
So when you say Shatterford, obviously I came to Shatterford.
Yeah.
You're talking about fishery, Midlands.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful place.
Oh yeah, stunning place. Yeah.
Like it were a lovely fishery.
Yeah, it just wasn't big enough.
Right.
Specimen more than anything. The lakes weren't shaped properly, and anyway, my heart ruled my head. Lovely big house, overlooking the scenery. Big mistake for me, that. Big mistake. And that I didn't lose any money, but I didn't earn any money either. Kind of stayed. And then Moorlands come for sale.
And how long were you at Shatterford?
I was at
for?
5 years I was there.
Right.
2013 to 2018.
Got you.
Or just over 2008, in the February 19. But yeah, when it come for sale, I thought, can I do it? And that's that transition of where I went from there to get to Moorlands. But I went home first. I rented my house out because I was only renting Shatterford. I didn't own Shatterford.
Right.
You know, that was a lot of money to pay every month to run a place that wasn't earning any money either. And I have to leave and my family and stuff. And then so we give it up. Went back to Alzoing while we were trying to buy Moorlands.
Got you. Why do you think Shatterford wasn't viable? So what made it, just from an interest point of view, like Moorlands going to be viable, Shatterford wasn't. What were the...
There's not enough pegs.
Ah, right.
And it was more specie. So, for instance, the one lake, it sort of got 10 pegs on it. You couldn't put any more than 5 anglers on it, really. You know, like when, you know, did you fish matches there?
Never fished a match. I come and did quite a few features.
Yeah. So when we had a match, we could only put 8 on it.
Yeah, you're not getting the footfall.
You still, you got 8 specimen anglers on it when they're there for 48 hours. You charge them 60 quid or whatever, and they buy your bait off you in bits and pieces. But even that wasn't enough. Moorlands has got 200 pegs. And that's what made me think, right, I turned over that there. This has got another 140 pegs more with a big 100-seater calf. How can I not make that work? Do you know what I mean? And that's why I took on Moorlands.
And it's your arena. It's match
And I own
fishing.
it. Yeah, I bought it. I own it.
Ah, right.
That's the difference. This is mine. So whatever I do, I'm doing for me and my families, you know. So
that must have been quite a big decision, though, to actually buy it outright. Like, that's not a cheap investment to go and buy that amount of land.
And not at my age either.
No.
Because I ain't young. I ain't a youngster anymore. I ain't in my 30s.
Right.
If I was 40 now, it'd be different.
I didn't realise till we did our little planning session, you were... Don't take this the wrong way, by the way. I might get jumped at by the gorilla. When you went, I am X amount, I was like, get away.
It's the skin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful
What
skin,
moisturiser do you use?
Lots.
Nivea Soft. but yeah, big decision.
Massive. And not just for me, for my wife as well. You know, look, we're going to, you know, when I was doing my wholesale, Nicola didn't have to work. She wanted to work. She did her beauty and stuff and all the rest of it.
That's where your skin's tonight. I've got you.
All the massages.
Yeah.
So she still worked, you know, she only part-time, but that's what she wanted to do, beauty and spray tans and all that sort of stuff. And she was very good at it, and she went on a course for doing individual eyelashes, and I mean the patience you have to have for that. But like I said to her, I said, look, this is 7 days a week, babe. You know what I mean? And even I think Nicola was thinking, really? She gets 1 day a week off. Got 2 kids that need to get to school and college. Well, Darren's old enough now, but and Ava's still at school. We've got 3 dogs and a fishery to run.
That's a busy plate, that.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was a massive decision for her as well. And I'm sure there's times where she goes, because we're the same age as well. Even Nicola looks nowhere near her age, you know.
Right.
But
wow.
It's, massive.
And how's it gone? I mean, you've had it how long now?
So we've been there 2.5 years.
And how's it gone so far?
I'll be honest with you. I was probably a little bit naive, right? And I'll tell you why. Because I thought, right, everyone knows me. I've got thousands of mates. And everyone I spoke to, when you get it, Grant, we'll be there. We'll support you. And don't get me wrong, some of them have. But there's lots that haven't.
Yeah.
And that upsets me. Because, how can I explain? I just want it to be the best it can be. And I can only do that with the support.
You need the people to
You
come.
need the people to, and listen, everyone's talking about Moorlands. I haven't heard one bad thing about it.
No, I haven't, mate.
Honestly. And I've spoke to lots of people. Because if I'm doing something wrong, come and tell me I'm doing it wrong. If I've upset you, come and tell me. Because I wouldn't upset anybody. Yes, go and have a look on Google and have a look at TripAdvisor and you'll see some bad reviews on there. Why? If you carry a 20-pound carp away from the lake with no mat and stand up and have a photograph of it and you drop it, I'm going to shout at you.
Loud.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
How much is a £20 carp worth, Grant?
I wouldn't know. I mean, to be fair, you boys would be better at knowing that than me.
A few £100, I reckon.
Yeah,
probably.
they're your babies, though.
500 quid.
500 quid,
Yeah, I
minimum,
reckon
I
about
would
there at least.
And don't get me wrong, in the carp industry, the strains are different, so they would cost more. These are commercial carp, but they're still, £20 fish is an old fish. And some of the reviews I've had is just anyone who knows me, that's not me. The nastiest, horribly smell in the world, and feared for my life and all that. Really? It's not me.
It's laughable.
But
It's
people,
laughable.
It is laughable because there's 2 sides to every story. And people go, God, you've had some bad reviews, haven't you? Yeah, and I'll continue to have bad reviews because if someone's doing something they shouldn't be doing, I'll tell them. And I'll tell them nicely to start with. And if they want to backchat me, then they will get it both barrels. I'm not there to upset anybody. But
What,
that's my livelihood.
What sort of have you had any not nasty surprises, but what surprised you the most going into Moorlands and running that fishery? What things have come at you that you didn't expect?
Probably the state of it. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a good look around when I bought it, and I knew there was a lot of work to do, but not as much as I've got. Little thing, like the septic tank, for instance, just it's not even been built properly.
What's a septic?
So
tank?
it's like a soak away, where all your toilet stuff goes into.
Ah, right.
Like, just little things like that. That needs to be rebuilt. Needs to be done. Needs a proper tank in it. They're like 12 grand minimum.
And how many people can just go wallop?
Where all our water goes out at the bottom of Moore's Pool, right? It's like a culvert. Every bit of water that comes into our place, it goes out there. And we've got a 8-inch pipe, right? Can't cope with the water. And it goes into this like round, and it's been blocked for years. I don't know how many years, I don't know. So we've tried to fix it. You know Ian Giddings?
Yeah.
Good friend of mine, been very, very good, helping me out stuff. Very expensive though, for a day work. Just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah.
Because he'd be mortified that I've mentioned that.
Okay. Should we bring it up again?
Yeah, really expensive.
Ian Giddings.
Ian Giddings,
Very
really
expensive. Okay.
But he's brilliant.
Okay, we'll let him off then.
Let him off, yeah.
But he is expensive.
Very expensive.
But we're not going to dwell on it.
No.
Okay.
Is he expensive?
Very. No, he's not really. Anyway, he's been brilliant. He helped me rebuild Bankpool. Anyway, this water that goes out at the bottom, we put a new pipe in, 10-inch pipe. Ian's done it all for me. I've guided him in the right direction because I'm very good at supervising, obviously. 300 quid. That's 30 peg fees. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's more than 30 peg fees because I have to pay VAT on my peg fees. And everything else I earn, I have to pay VAT on it. People don't see that. They just think you're making a fortune. But when you look at just one little pipe and it's cost you 300 quid, you've got to have 30 plus people sitting there to pay for that. That's without everything else. I'm not preaching, but people don't realise how much things, like Bankpool wasn't free. We saved a fortune because me and Ian, and I had a few mates who offered to help us over the weekend. So you save money there, but that lake's been rebuilt. Island's been rebuilt. Moors is getting rebuilt in March. Ian's going to help me do that as well.
What would you say? Like, listening to this, it's really interesting, but obviously I have got, and I'm sure the listeners as well, especially the people that know you, I think you've got a lot more oomph talking about this than so many other people because you've been, and we'll come on to this obviously, a top flight match angler, and now you are running a top end match fishery. Yeah. So you are seeing this from both sides.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of fishery owners, people can have a little dig, but the fishery owner can't really go, well, I've been a top flight match angler as well. Some can, but you can do this. So I think I'm really interested in asking you a lot about the fishery.
Yeah.
What things and what costs, should I say, are there involved with a fishery that a high percentage of people won't know about?
Cutting the grass, for one. It has to be cut virtually every week, especially in the summer. So, and then the fuel prices. So it costs me 70 quid now just to cut the grass.
And you wouldn't consider that?
No.
You just see Grant bobbing about on his mower.
But obviously you have to get off that mower to string round the pallets. Now, I know people say, the pallets there are terrible. Yeah, they are. I'll fix them as I go along. Until I redo that lake, like Moors is getting done, that will have a complete revamp. Every single peg will be brand new. I've already got them.
That'd be mega,
I've been lucky, a fishery didn't close down, but he turned his lake into more accommodation. So I bought all the pegs off him. To build these pegs were 200 quid each, and I paid 30 quid from each.
Right.
But I bought 86 pegs off him. So that's 3.5, whatever it is, 1,000 quid of peg fees just for you to sit on. Do you know what I mean? Chippings that go round the lakes. I've got in with a lad who brings them. I have to pay for them.
It's a lot of outgoings.
Just so you can drive on nice, so it looks nice around. As we do the lakes, they will be completely revamped. I've been given 50 scaffold boards at 14 foot each. That will rebuild all the pegs up on High Meadow. and I will do them this year because people are moaning how small the pegs are.
You know, jobs like that, Grant, I'm not a practical person.
Neither am I.
Right? But I'm saying building a peg is not a one-man job.
No, it's not.
Like, surely you can't just build a peg on your own. You need a couple of you, 3 of you, machinery.
Yeah, exactly that. So I've got to find. I have a guy. He's not with me at the minute. I'm not going to talk about that because for reasons he's not here. But I can't do anything on my own because it is a 2-man job. The pallets are so heavy. All the ones there at the minute are metal, right? You can't lift them. How can I lift that? Put something underneath and work the digger, and I can't do it. So I need to get someone. I'm looking for someone. Anybody out there wants a job? Cash in that. I'm just saying. I've got to get someone to come and help me. I can't physically do. I can do certain jobs. I can do the cutting the grass. I can do the trimming, but physically fixing all the pegs, I need somebody to help me.
What are you actively looking? What will it
I
be?
I will be actually. It won't be a full-time job. Right. It'll be full-time in the summer. Well, kind of full-time in the summer. Because we can't do a great deal in the summer because there's loads of anglers on. Do you know what I mean? So all the work needs to be done through the winter, i.e. we're doing moors in March. Hopefully the weather will be right for us. It won't take us long to do it, but I need someone to help me.
There you go, folks. Fishing Gurus
Comments
podcast.
going to light up now, aren't they?
Yeah. Recruitment.
Obviously they need to be local. Yeah, you've got to be local to me and fairly flexible, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I need someone who's pretty hands-on. I don't want someone who can just, I'll come and work there. I need someone who's pretty clued up, clever. Like the previous lad who helped me, he was a mechanic. Anything went wrong, he'd fix it. Fantastic. Yeah. I'm hoping he comes back. I love him to bits like a brother. Right? But he's not with me at the minute. And I can't do it. I physically can't do it. And any fishery owner will tell you, you need people to work for you. So that's the other thing. I've got to find wages for someone. Do you know what I mean?
It's so easy to turn up and pay a day ticket or pay on a match and expect you. Like, I think, what do you find most annoying about match anglers? This is a question for you.
Hang on a minute. How long have you got?
You are a match angler, but now you're a fishery owner. So I want you to flip into Grant Albutt fishery owner mode. You're Grant Albutt fishery owner. What do you find most annoying about match anglers?
Being truthful is the biggest thing for me. I have been to so many matches, right? I'll tell you. I'll bring a name up as well. Is that, you know, like when you're all in the queue and obviously I stand at the front and, right, lads, these are the rules. Anyway, anybody got anything they want to say? Silence. And then they all go in the car park and slag you off. Why is that in? Why can't you do?
As in pegs. Why is that pegging?
Whatever. You know, and he's just asked you if you got anything to say. You know, go and tell him. Listen, I've got broad shoulders. If something ain't right, come and tell me. You know, I ain't going to fly off the handle. I'm there to help you. I want you to come back to my fishery. I want my fishery to be perfect for you to go away and tell you, no, you want to get down there, it's brilliant. Everything's brilliant with him. There's nothing, you can't fault anything about him. But don't go in the car park. I'm not on about me. I've been to lots of fisheries, and then as soon as you go, right, well, I'm going to say, they all go, and you look round, and they've all gone. And then when you come back out, they all come back to you. What did he say? Well, if you'd been, got off your arse and go and said something to him, you instead of me going to say it.
So what you're saying is, if there's a problem, if there's anything that you could do better, just come and talk to you.
Yeah.
Grant, I don't like that pegging, Grant. This is
why have you pegged it like that? Well, this is the reason I pegged like that. I did say to you, everybody happy with the pegging, everybody happy with that. Nobody said a word.
But then they go whispering.
But then you go whispering to other people, or I hear, not me, but I'm not just about me. I'm on about other fisheries I've been to. I can only say that because I haven't really heard it much at my fishery. I try and peg it fair. It's like, if we haven't got many people on, I'll give people as much room as I can. Right? They never moan then. But when you've got to put every other peg in instead of every 2 pegs, say, hang on a minute. I'll give you as much room as I can when I can, but please don't moan when I can't. Because I am running a business here, and if I can give you 3 pegs, I'll give you. But if I can only give you 1 peg today, don't moan. You weren't moaning last week when I give you 3 empty pegs.
Yeah, they don't come and pat you on the back and go, thanks for giving me loads of room today. But then they'll moan if, flipping
Do
extra.
you know what I mean?
And how much more respect would you have for somebody if they come up to you afterwards and go, do you know what, like, Grant, I don't know if I don't agree with that or try
So
this.
much more.
Do you know what I mean? It's just a...
Honesty, for me, honesty is the biggest thing.
Mm.
Why don't you come to my fishery? Tell me why. I ask loads of people.
Yeah, why don't you come?
Why are you not coming to my fishery?
Mm.
Well, I really have the time. No, really. Tell me why you don't come.
Yeah.
Is it me? Do you not like me? Have I done something wrong to upset you? Because if I have, I'll be the first to apologise.
Yeah.
Because I ain't there to upset people.
It's true that. That'd be a really good question to ask a lot of
Do you know what I mean?
anglers. Yeah.
And I always say, because obviously I want more people there. Unfortunately for me, we've got some good fisheries around us. And I think what happened is that Moorlands went downhill. Very clicky. Right, and I've heard a rumour that it's a bit clicky at the minute. Let me tell you, if I knew my fishery was over clicky, I would have stopped to it straight away.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want anyone coming to my fishery feeling uncomfortable. Right? So if for anyone out there who's spreading rumours, don't spread them. It's not true. I'm trying to create something that we've got lovely food. Right? I've even got a bar now. I want people to come and have a drink with me after. Not for the money. If you go to another fishery and you're driving past me, don't go to the pub where you got to watch your P's and Q's. Come and tell me where you've been today and talk to me and have a beer and chill out. And I'll sit there and have a beer with you till you're ready to go.
It sounds blooming delightful, Tony.
That's what I want.
It was, and for me, when I went to film market last year now, and it was only like my second one.
Yeah,
so I was
second
still
live match.
like learning it all on a bit like that, and getting used to the match scene was all a bit new to me. But mate, when I got there, it was dead friendly.
Yeah.
I even had one guy stop me. I've never met him before. I can't remember what lake he's fishing. You'll be able to help me. So when you come down the drive, it's the big one. There's a hill opposite it.
That's Meadow, that is, yeah.
Meadow. So
The
there's a
Meadow
fella
pool,
on
yeah.
Meadows. He was, he was probably 20 metres from where Mikey was fishing. He just stopped me and he loved the podcast, this and that. He was dead friendly. Mate, it was really nice there.
Yeah.
I would love to come back as well.
Yeah, no, brilliant.
It's
That's
too
what I
far
want.
for me. I wish
I know
you were
it is, yeah.
closer.
I know, yeah.
Like you say, you've
Yeah,
got...
no, I ain't having it, mate. You got to make the effort.
Yeah, I know. Should be fair. Well, now that I know there's a bar and a cafe and a restaurant...
I'm not
sorted.
trying to encourage
Yeah.
people to drink and drive either, let me tell you that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But I think people are frightened to come there. I spoke to you about this before. I seem to have, or I've got this reputation that I'm angry and I just want to hurt everybody. They couldn't be further from the truth. That's not me.
I normally get a hug when I meet you.
Do you know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
me. I know a lot of people. I've grown up with a lot of the best anglers in the world. That's not me. I am so approachable. And just because I'm a big lad, tattoos and a bald head, don't make me look. I'm not an angry person. Of course I get angry. Of course I do. But I'm there to serve anglers, and I want it to be a community.
Yeah.
I want people to come there, even if you're not fishing. Just come and have a beer. And because I ain't seen you for ages, come and have a beer. I'll buy you one back anyway. I am so giving, right? My missus says to me all the time, Grant, you're giving too much stuff away.
Generous.
Generous,
Ridiculously
yeah.
generous.
I am generous, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's me. I'll never change. Obviously, you've got to make a living. Our beer's cheap. You go to a pub, it's £5 a pint.
Flipping out.
Ours is £3.50, and it's a nice pint.
$3.50 I could buy
I was
like.
just going to say, have you got any accommodation on site?
We are looking into that.
Are you really?
Yeah, I've got a designer now designing me a lodge, and we are putting in within the next month. So
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
we will have accommodation, no matter what. We will
That's
have
a-
accommodation.
That's even better.
Yeah, but that's it. That's me. People don't need to stay away because whatever they've heard. I mean, anyone can approach me. I'm there to help people.
I think what you've said there has got loads of weight, and you're speaking on behalf of a lot of match organisers and fishery owners. I think what you've said by saying, look, just come in, don't talk about it in car park.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it to your mate on the way home when you're driving back about how bad the pegging were. Just give me a ring or come and see me.
Exactly that.
Like, I think that is a really powerful thing that a lot of fishery owners and match organisers will appreciate you saying that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And I'll tell you another thing as well. Tackle shops. People stand in tackle shops talking shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Making things up. I got thrown in my lake in the summer.
Did you?
Yeah.
Honestly?
Apparently.
By who?
Some bloke said to me, "Oh, you got thrown in the other week, didn't you?" Really?
I mean this with the greatest respect, but who's throwing you in a lake?
Do you know what I mean?
Like,
And listen,
they might-
you know, I can't handle it. There's bigger blokes than me and harder blokes than me around. But let me tell you, if someone threw me in the lake, I'd tell you. John had this. John Talbot had this. He got thrown in loads of times, apparently. I grew up with John. He never got thrown in at all.
No.
Just got to laugh. Isn't it?
Where does it come from?
Why do they do it? Why do people? You know, when we was emptying the island pool, we
Yeah.
took all the silt out, right? We stacked it all up on the far paddock, right? So a bloke's come in, drove round. I won't tell you who he is because he'll be listening to this. He's gone into a tackle shop and said that I've got all this sand or whatever it is piled up, and it's ever so dangerous. Right? This is the man that drives in, goes to the toilet, which I've now locked. That's another story. Drives around the fishery, never gets out of his car, might come and have a coffee if we're really lucky, and then drives back out again, and then goes and talks
About
and
sand.
makes stories up in the tackle shop.
Mm.
But the problem is with that is that all of a sudden there's another bloke in the tackle shop, and then he'll go and tell his pal, and he'll tell his mate, and before you know it, it's not even sand piled up anymore.
Chinese whispers.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
and it's terrible.
Yeah.
And they don't realise that they could ruin someone's business overnight by spreading rumours.
It's dangerous.
She's dangerous. Yeah.
Very, very dangerous. What's your take on social media since you've had the fishery grant? Because obviously that's we talk about it quite a bit on the podcast, but from a business and a fishing point of view, that's another quite. It's a branch where information and things get out and talked about. What's your take on that?
I don't mind social media. I'm not the best at it. I don't always post the results, and then people say, "Can you post results?" So I do it. I could be better at it. But you know, it's definitely helped the fishery. We're not. The website was 40 years old.
40-year-old website.
It's the same website John had when he did it, and Mark, who took over from John, who I bought it off, never changed it.
Wow.
The original signs were still there when I moved there.
Crazy.
It's a joke, mate. And that just shows you that, you know, I'm not here to run him down, but I kind of am running down because he took on a fishery which was in its prime, and he ruined it. He took it from there, and I took it over here.
You've got a big job on your hands, haven't you?
Massive job.
Big job on your hands.
Big job. You know, is there enough anglers out there? The clubs are diminishing. That clubs want everything for nothing. And I'm not trying to lose more clubs, but, you know, how much can you do that? Like, we can't afford that.
How much do you charge for a day ticket, Grant?
So it's £10.
Right.
It should be £30.
Yeah.
And that's going to get a lot of people talking. You know, 30 years ago, John, I have just put it over the top of my sign, over the top of his sign. It was £4 and £5 30 years ago.
Wow.
It's gone up £5
In 30
in 30 years.
It's not bad, that really, is it?
And the other
£5.
thing,
Yeah,
I
it's
am being
nothing.
funny as well. It's a tenner for a day ticket, right? Where else could you go for a day out, get there at 7:30 in the morning, sit there with your mates, and spend 12 hours doing something that you really enjoy for a tenner?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Nowhere. It costs you more than that to go and feed a goat in a
Yeah.
park.
It would.
You know, and you have to buy that off them as well. It's just too cheap. There's lots of talk about super pools at the minute and stuff like that. And you know, and then I see a comment, well, maybe the fishery should drop the peg fees. Really?
With the cost of everything at the minute, it needs to be quite the opposite, really.
Yeah.
I know Babs at Partridge, I was speaking to her about it back end of last year, and she were absolutely terrified of putting the price up. But I could tell she needed to do it.
Yeah.
Like she needed, and you're talking about an extra £1.
Excuse me.
But you shouldn't be.
I mean, they've got a fantastic fishery,
Beautiful, innit?
but they haven't got a great lot of competition.
No.
So they're lucky. I mean, look, you only have to look at their turnouts. Frightening.
A cracking area as well.
Yes.
Brilliant catchment area.
Yeah.
Get yourself a drink, love. Get
yourself
yourself another
a
water. On to, while we're still on to fisheries, let me have a drink and all taupe, excuse me.
No, you're all right.
Gone all dry there talking about.
Yeah, I
that.
have. Go on, stick a bit in mine, love, while you're there. Look at that. Great service at this Fishing Gurus podcast, you know, folks. Look at that. While we're still talking about fishery, Grant, it's fishery pellets only at Moorlands, obviously. How important is that to the business, and how important is it to you as a fishery owner, knowing what bait's going in your lake?
Well, you know, the first thing is people will say, fishery owners, and they're just robbing us with all the pellets. That's what they're going to say. I go fishing. I have to go to other fisheries and I have to buy their pellets. I don't moan about it. What they don't realise is the £10 peg fee is that I have to pay VAT on that. So I don't get 10 quid anyway. Right? The pellets that I buy, and I find myself trying to explain to people that this isn't just a normal, it's just a normal pellet, mate. No, it's a Screttins pellet, but it's a Royale. So they cost me £8 a bag more than a normal Screttins pellet. Now I can buy cheap pellets all day and sell them for the same price, but I want my fish to have a better pellet. And I can only tell you, since I've been there, that the fish have it's made a massive difference to the fish by having a better pellet. We can all chuck crap pellets at the fish and make maximum profit. It's not always about that. It's about your fish having a nice diet pellet as well, or a good pellet to have. And people just think you're just robbing them. And I'm not robbing them. It's a business. You buy a newsagent's, you don't just stock Mars bars, do you?
No.
It's the same thing.
You have a Costa machine and
you
have
do.
a slush puppy machine.
You put anything you can get in that shop to make a living.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a fully racked shop with all Drennan. Obviously, I'm sponsored by Drennan, so they come and racked it out for me. You know, and they did my own. So, like, obviously, a lot of the stuff is Alan Scott on. Yeah. So they did my own for me.
What have you?
I mean, fantastic. You know, they've done 3 lovely photographs. It's all built into the thing of me. They didn't have to do that, but that's that's what they've done for me. You know what I mean? But we're there to make a profit. If I can't make a profit, I won't be there. That Moorlands will go.
What's your long-term aim with it, Grant? How do you want it to be? Like, you know, you've been there 2 years. What sort of time scale have you got in mind, and where do you want it to be in the future, and when?
Right, so I'll give myself 5 years, which isn't a long time, to get the fishery how I want it. I've got 2.5 years left. I've only got moors. Middle pool's not so much a problem. Can always use that as a stock pond anyway. But I've got moors, which we're going to do this year, and then the big project will be meadow. Now, meadow's got 60 pegs on it, which we'll reduce to 40, because we don't use 60 pegs anyway. That's going to cost me a lot of money to do that.
Yeah. That
is a lot of peg fees. I might even put them up. I'm going to joke. But, you know, that's massive. This might sound, I'm not even sure what the word is, but there's a lot of good fishers around by me. I don't really care how they're run. I don't care who owns them. I will make sure that Moorlands is firmly back on the map, and I won't stop until it's the best fishery in the Midlands.
Nice.
That's a big statement, that.
Yeah.
And I ain't got millions of pounds. So the more people that people don't support me, it won't get done. It's a fact.
You're putting a lot back into it.
Massive. You know, we're looking for accommodation to put on there as well, which will help massively. And I will put every penny, when I've paid all my bills, back into it. And if people don't support me then I don't know what the answer is.
You know what's weird? We've sat here and chatted for a long time now, and we've hardly talked about your fishing and your Grant Albutt match fishing.
Yep.
Like, how's that affected your fishing? We've not even spoke about it yet, and we've talked about all sorts. How's having the fishery affected your fishing?
Massive. I'm like a hermit. I don't leave there. It's crazy, because obviously, you know, when you're running matches and stuff as well, it's even hard to fish them yourself. And anybody who's got a fishery will know this, who runs the match and tries to fish them as well. I thought it'd be easy. Yeah, I still do what we used to do before. Travel all over the country, chasing this and that. It's not happened. For the last 2.5 years, I've really sort of been very distant. Still doing bits and pieces and that, a few features for Drennan and stuff like that. But yeah, it's changed my fishing hugely.
Has that affected you? Because I know you loved your fishing a lot.
Yeah, it's affecting me big time. And the reason is I obviously look and see who's doing well, and it's like, I can do that.
You want to be doing it.
Yeah, people go on about he's the best angler in the country and all that. Yeah, he's no better than I am. He might draw better than me, but I can do that. I might be a little bit rusty now, but I can. You don't forget there. It's like riding a bike. You just get a bit rusty once you've been back out. I'm the kind of person who, like Mickey Viles showed me a knot. I don't remember what the knot was called when I was in the feeder team. He showed me twice and I got it. I don't need to be showed things more than twice before I get it.
Yeah.
And then I'm on it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it has affected me. I see other people doing really well, and then when I was at my peak, I was, without being big, I'm not a big head, I could go anywhere and compete and do really well. I was one of the best out there. I'll tell you.
You've got the results to back it up.
Yeah,
though,
I have.
You
Yeah, and I'm not a big head. I've never been a big head. I'm not very good at promoting myself. And me and Dean Barlow have had this conversation. That's not me. I'm not a trumpet blower.
No.
If that's what I would call people trumpet blowers, I can't do that. It's not me. It's not my nature. I used to let my fishing do the talking. I didn't. I'm brilliant at this. I'm the greatest. I'm not like that.
No. I don't know about you, but I feel like in today's age, it's worse than ever, because if I have 2 weeks off fishing, which never happens, very rarely, but every now and again, you have a couple of weeks off and you kick back and you look at your phone and it's so in your face with like, I'm going here and I've won this, or and like, because of social media, it's all in front of you all the time.
Yeah.
And it almost makes you feel like you should be there doing it all the time. So for you to sit back for 2.5 years, like that must be even more exaggerated for you.
It's horrendous.
Because you were a competitive match fishing beast that did everything and went everywhere and entered everything and did well in it all, to then have 2.5 years where you've hardly done it. And
I see it every day.
Every day.
Yeah, it is hard, yeah. But when obviously, when on the podcast with Nick, we used to have Speeder.
Yeah.
We had to wait for the Angler's Mail to come out, or the Angling Times to come out, to see what had gone on. You'd only get it on a Wednesday, you only get once a week. It's every single day, it's in your face. The kids of today, or the people coming through now, they don't know how lucky they are, honestly. And that's not being disrespectful to them, because there's some great anglers out there, fantastic anglers, who even me to this day go out there and they just take you apart. Like your Christian Joneses and people like that. Fantastic. And he's I know him quite well. He's a lovely kid, and his dad. I don't know what to say really. They're just brilliant at it, and I don't know where it's all going to end, because at some point, for me, fishing's on the down. There's no one coming through.
Low numbers
now. Your talent pathways and things like that you do is fantastic, but after that, when we all go, and we are going slowly, and every week someone seems to be passing away. Do you know what I mean? The older generation.
Even you say the talent pathway though, Grant, we've got Match Academy Talent Pathway, and we make a massive buzz about these events, and this puts it in perspective really. Across Talent Pathway and Match Academy last year, we probably had, 30, 60, not nowhere near 200 kids, nowhere near 200, and that's all right. That's only match fishing. Double it, triple it. Right, if you said you got 800, 900, 1,000, you're talking figures way beyond what we have.
Yeah.
That, even if it was 1,000, it's not enough to carry the fishing trade for years and years to come. It's quite worrying.
It is worrying. And you, like I said, I know it's winter time now, but you don't see any pleasure anglers really.
No.
And you got to remember as well, there's too many fisheries now, and that's not me saying it because I've got one now. There are too many. And it's diluted all the anglers. Whereas, like, let's just say, like Moorlands, for instance, was 80 to 100 peggers every week. Even a Wednesday was big. That's gone. They're not coming back, because you've got 15 blokes going to that fishery. I've got 25, 30 down the road from me. You've got another 10, 15, 5, or got 40 fisheries around me.
Before, all them people came to one place.
One place. And people from all over the country come to Moorlands.
Very interesting.
It's a shame, I don't know what the answer is.
Neither do I.
I don't know if there is an answer.
Maybe we need to look bigger picture. We've mentioned this a lot, but like schools or that kind of scheme, I'd love to try and make an impact. While
we had schools when I was a kid. We used to fish against other schools, but that was even a struggle then. There's only certain people who go fishing.
What's fishing?
Where's your tinnies?
Yeah.
It's right, isn't it? Like, if you're not into it, you're not into it. It's my life. It's all it's your life. It's Toby's life.
He's had a little dabble. Into it.
Yeah, still go. I'm definitely more of like a pleasure angler, but I still enjoy it. And it's not only it's my life, but it's family's life. Like my dad and that, he's fished since forever.
Yeah.
Stepmom, they've all done it.
Yeah.
I think listening from an outsider's perspective, I think it's the school's route for me personally, because it is something. Unless it's
you could be right there.
Unless it's in your family. I know that you didn't have a family influence, but I think it's not
different then, Tobes, because we didn't have phones.
No,
we never had phones and all these games and stuff then.
But you are right. But it's not like I took my little brother a couple of times. He loved it, mate. Caught bream bigger than I did. But I think unless you have that influence, it's not something that you just go, do you know what, I'll go and try that. It's not football. You're not, we'll just go down the park, kick a ball around for a couple of hours. It isn't that.
No.
So I do think, in my opinion,
you need to put it in the hands.
You need to, like you do with the talent pathway, stuff like that. But it needs to go a step further than that and be like, look, have a go at this, take them there, have a go at that. I personally think that's the future, because then you'll get, mate, even if you have a class of 30, you might get one or two that go, do you know what, I'm going to go back and do that again. And that's all it needs.
It's hard, isn't it, though? Because, like, obviously, I work for Guru. You run a fishery. Like, I'd love to make something like that happen. Last year, we did a fishing school. So we did 4 or 5 places up and down the country where we invited kids or people who'd never been fishing before to come and try fishing.
Right.
But for us as a company to do that, we have to put 2 or 3 of us out for a full day, and there's the travel and the cost of us travelling and providing the tackle and providing the bait and pay for the peg fees of the fishery, and the actual scale of conversion you get. If it were busy, if we got 20 people there, you're not talking enough numbers to turn around a whole industry. You've got to go to something deeper where there's thousands of kids that you can go try fishing, to thousands in one go try fishing that don't go fishing at the minute. Do you know what I mean?
And the other thing is the parents have got to get them there. I had my own youth team. I have knocked on it at the minute, because you try and get them together. So I was going to get a team of 5 or 6 up to 14 years old, because I'm all for the kids. I do run matches in the summer. Most we've had 34 from 4 years old to 14, and they all have prizes, and then you end up ringing all Guru, Grant, and then you need prizes off them. And not everybody can give you prizes, but the kids, it's nice to give them something. But if the parents can't get them there, you're on a downward slope already. And I feel for the parents, because it's like I stopped it. I said, look, we're trying to meet up on this day. You can't come because of that. You can't come because of that. And then we ended up with 2 kids.
Tiny numbers. We've talked about your fishery a lot, Grant, but obviously I want to talk a lot about fishing, match fishing. And one of the first times I met you properly were at Whiteacres. Now, I know that venue in particular, that's been a massive part of your match fishing life.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't go at the start. I probably went 97, 98, Kieran, Simon Christian, Clint Elliott.
Kieran
Rich, yeah, good friend of mine. You got to come down Whiteacres. It's absolutely fantastic. And then I sort of plucked up the courage to go. I'm pretty sure I went with Paul Downs.
Right.
First time I went.
Can you remember the very first festival you went on there?
I haven't got the best memory, but I remember bits of it. And I went with Paul. I think I ended up 7th overall. But one of the time I first, because obviously Billy Knott was there, that was when the bookmaker was there, and you had all your names on a list and all your odds.
Was Billy the bookmaker?
Billy was the bookmaker. He always has been the bookmaker, really, to my knowledge. I know other few people have dabbled in it, but Billy was there, like, he's in your face, like, roar up to you. You're having a bet. Like, in your face, proper. But that's how Billy, I got really friendly with him in the end, but his lovely wife.
He could probably do a good podcast, couldn't he, Billy Knott?
Yeah. He'd have some stories he would, mate, let me tell you. He'd been around a long time.
Right.
But, yeah, and I'll never forget it. Billy, I don't know if I had a bet or not. Anyway, he offered me a bet. He said, I'll give you 10 to 1. You don't break £100 in the week. So I'm like, really? I'll take that. You had to pay me by Tuesday. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a silly bet, really. But anyway, he took it, and we've become good friends after that.
Mega.
But yeah, it was brilliant then.
What was Whiteacres like then, compared to how a lot of people listening will know it now?
Well, obviously you had a few people on talking about Whiteacres because I've been watching, and I think everyone has their own experience about it. But for me, I think it's pretty much the same as like Dean, and it was phenomenal. The atmosphere was different. Everybody was at the club. You go back. You'd either if you had a bad day, you were straight in the bar. If you'd had a good day, but you wanted to get changed and have a shower and go straight at the bar, we'd always play pool. And then when that would finish, we didn't go in the bar. We went in the club. But if you weren't in the club at a certain time, you were like 4 deep at the bar. You couldn't get a seat. It was just, the atmosphere was just brilliant.
Can you remember? I've just had a flashback. Can you remember the time that Denty tripped and spilt a pint on you? Can't you remember that?
Can't remember that, no. Did he remember it?
Can't you remember? We were playing pool. And he
told you I got a terrible things like
you know what Denty's like?
Yeah.
So chilled out, innit?
But it was good. Like that pool, it'd be like 20 of us around the pool table.
Yeah.
Everybody who was anybody was there. We'd all go and play a game of pool after and have a laugh and talk about the day and have a load of beer, and we wouldn't get kicked out the pub. We'd be in there till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning because it was more family orientated. It's all corporate now. It's all, and I get it, it's all about money. You got to make money, of course you have. But back then it was fantastic, and I think someone else touched on it. Like on a Friday night, they do the draw, and you'd all be in there with little bits of paper, so you knew who's in your section. That was really early days, just as I started going there then.
Got ya.
And it was a buzz. And for me, that's getting everybody in the club at a certain time. So it's that, and that is about money. Surely, if you do that every week, and I understand that, the lads now, and Clint's got a life. He doesn't want to do that on a Friday night. He's been working all week, and I get it. But as a company, you do that every Friday night. How much more money are you going to take in the bar? Do you know what I mean?
It's good business, isn't it?
Absolutely brilliant business, because everybody went in there.
Yeah.
And everybody on a Friday played bingo.
What, even all the match anglers?
Yeah. Everybody.
Grant Albutt used to play bingo.
I had a game. This is quite funny actually, because I thought, I'll have a go. And you got Kieran and all that, and Tommy with their proper bingo pens, like the big posh. And I actually won the festival, and I won the bingo.
Get away!
And I had about 300 tickets chucked at me. You know what I mean? Because I'd won that, and then I won the bingo as well. But I mean, sometimes it was. I'm pretty sure, I might be corrected here, but it was up to like between £800 and £1,000 you could win.
On bingo?
On bingo, on a Friday night.
Jesus.
Because it hadn't been won in the week or whatever. It was so popular. And we all end up playing in the end.
What's, aside from the bingo, what's your most memorable festival or win down there? Now, how many festivals have you won?
I think I've won 4.
4 festivals?
4 or 5, yeah.
What would you say is your most memorable trip there or festival win there?
I mean, you'd have to go a long way not to be the Parkdean winner. When it started off as the Skull. Parkdean the Skull was the one to win.
Yeah.
So, I've had some great festivals. I mean, like I said, I haven't got a great memory. And I forgot a lot of stuff, and until people remind you of it. But I would say that, because I'd been second 2 previous years and only been beaten by 1 fish both times. So to win it is the pinnacle. 25 grand, it's a lot of money. But and I know this is a bit of cliche, it's not about the money. The money's fantastic, but to get your name on the trophy is the big thing. Because you become an elite, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Was that one of the first big money finals you won?
No. The first biggest thing I won was the first ever individual national.
Wow.
That was back in, when you never forget a date and the peg and everything. It was 1995. In fact, Nick Speed touched on it. Me and him qualified through the same team, believe it or not.
Ah, right.
Bridge North. And we went up there.
as well.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And yeah, I did. I was lucky enough to win it. And back then, obviously, I wasn't sponsored then. So that was all my own clothing. I obviously liked that clothing and I bought that. And I think I was 25 then.
You're a handsome fella, aren't you?
Wow.
Look at that.
Got a bit of hair there, look.
Yeah. Look at the chain.
Yeah. But
Wow.
yeah, we qualified to go up to that. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't even going to go. I wasn't really well. And there was between 300 and 400 fishing it. I can't remember the exact number. And I went up there and I went up reluctantly because I wasn't very well. I weren't going to go. So anyway, I went up there, got there, didn't really know anyone. As no one really knew me back then as such. I wasn't a big name.
Well, this is on the Witham, isn't it?
This is on the Witham.
Yeah, like Nick talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drew pound length, whatever that is, and pegged 28. And I had a bit of a sluice opposite me, but I hadn't got my bait, so I'd forgot my casters, and I drew next to Nick.
Speedy.
What
are the chances of this?
I know, because I thought he was going to mention it, and because I watched his podcast, he didn't mention it. I think not because I beat him. I'm not sure. But I drew next to Nick, and he gave me half a pint of casters.
Wow.
And anyway, I'd set up, and someone did tell me that there's like a bit of a channel on just off the far bank, if I remember rightly. Anyway, I've chucked it over. The match has started, and my tip's just gone like that. Ooh. I was like, no, is that a bite then? And it's gone straight round. I lost my first two fish.
Breen.
So panicking. I'm only 25. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of the start of my career, really. So I was panicking. Anyway, I just steady on. I've ended up with 12, and I've won the match. So I just couldn't believe it. And obviously, I can't remember his full name, but he worked for Dyer. He's the one who took that photograph.
Right.
And then it went in, obviously, the magazine. And that's where, and I'd had a bet with Billy.
Billy not?
120 to 1. I think I won 600 quid off Billy.
That's a lot of money back.
It was back then. I think I won 2,000 quid.
And how much is that worth in today's money, would you say, Nick?
I think it's still 2,000.
Yeah.
I'm not that old, Matt. Still worth 2,000. So yeah, so I won about $2,500.
Right.
Which was fantastic. But obviously I'm on my way home and my mum was around. Yeah, you done? Yeah, I didn't do any good, Mum. Got home, got the trophy out, and they were like, and then the Howzo News, the Chronicle, they all come and took photographs and did an interview, and that was the start of it for me.
National champion,
yeah. First ever individual national champion.
You ain't getting any bigger than that though,
I
Grant,
know,
at that age.
It's nice. It was lovely. Obviously, there was a I didn't really know anybody then, but that was the start of it. And then I think that was where I moved on from there.
Right.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Back onto Whiteacres, the actual Parkdean Masters final. I can't remember that match or how you fished. Was that when it was still on Jenny's Lake?
Yeah, it was on Jenny's Lake, yeah.
And what were the tactics? What were the match like? Because obviously, coming second in two, you've got this bit between your teeth. You really want to win this one.
Yeah. Well, I drew the same peg as it was won. I think I'm not sure it was the previous year, but it was like Carassios, mainly Carassios then, and they were all. It was obviously shallow fishing, and I'd spoke to Steve Sanders the previous night, and we were gluing our pellets so they weren't getting wet, so you could just constantly use. I actually won it with £61, I think. I think Des was second on one pellet.
Never.
Where I used one pellet all match
because it's obviously coated in glue.
It's not getting wet. I never had any tang. You just, one of them perfect matches you have. And it was just brilliant, mate.
Cheap days fishing, that, innit? One pellet, $25,000.
Yeah, 25.
That's got a ring to it, hasn't it? Get that. Tell you what, Facebook post when we're promoting this podcast. One pellet equals $25,000.
Not great for your bait sponsor, but it was fishery pellets there as well. So you had to use the fishery pellets to feed, and it was okay. I mean, Steve had another float then called what was it called? Carper Slap. So it's just an inline float, and you could have it like that far, or you could have it wherever you wanted it, whichever the limit was on the fishery rules anyway. And you could if you got in a tangle, you're having a bad day.
Right.
Just keep slapping it over, and like sometimes you just get a little dink, and they were on every time. The fish come that close to the surface, but you couldn't see them. It was just
strange fish, them Crassio, aren't they?
They are
really weird.
They're still in there now, but they're old. They've been caught a lot. They're old fish now, but they still get caught.
What did you do when you'd won that grand? Because 25 grand's a lot of money.
I don't know. It was quite, like when my wife phoned me and she said, "Have you won it?" And I was getting on. I got like loads of people behind me, like, and I was getting all emotional and stuff. I said, "Look, I gotta go." I'm getting all emotional there. It was weird. It was just a funny experience because obviously I wanted it that bad, and then when you get something, sometimes I don't know.
Yeah. Are you an emotional person?
As I've got older,
right.
it's quite, it's quite funny, really. Never used to be. But yeah, certain things now, like, when I lost my dog and stuff, and you see things on the telly, and, I said to you before, I have to go out the room.
Really?
But I think a lot of people, as you get older, everything changes for you. You see your friends disappearing, and, people dying all the time. And yeah, I have... Yeah.
Definitely got more emotional.
Definitely got more emotional and gone softer.
Oh, bless you. There's a time and a place for that, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get any ideas. I'm still not down the fishery, I'm not soft. But no, I have mellowed quite a lot, to be fair.
Right.
You got to.
When you were at White Acres, obviously I've been there loads of times and seen you win tons of matches down there.
Yeah.
What were your edges like in the peak of it all then, when you were winning all the time there? You had a good close-knit group of people you used to share information with. Yeah. What gave you and the people around you used to knock about with the edge then down there?
Well, the first time I started going there, I started with Kieran and Stu Conroy, and Stuart had developed this liquidised meat.
Right. So
I was like, what's all this about, like? And they showed me, they were practicing, they showed me how they were doing it. So obviously I got onto that, and I wouldn't say I made it better. I tweaked my way a little bit. And then if you could reach an island on any venue where you allowed meat, you'd just destroy it.
And what was it? What were liquid?
It was just, we used to use garlic meat back then. We just come in like a sausage form. You didn't have to use that. You could just use normal. So we divided the meat up into, say, 4. The tins were bigger then. Slice into 4. Use a blender or a food mixer, and as it was going round, you would add Thatcher's Gold or the Census Gold then.
Crazy Bait
Gold, which is fish meal. And so what it does, it breaks it down as it's going round. So you effectively got a real heavy, like a damp ground bait.
Right.
But it's meat. Do you know what I mean? And we used to use McDonald's straws then.
What as punch?
As punch. So we used to use it. So literally you'd go to the far bank where you could reach. You just dip your pole. You'd have holes in it so you could take on the water. And when you lifted it, just dropped and went down into this. And then you put your bait over the top of it. And just every single time, it just went under.
What, carp and...
Yeah, mainly carp. But you'd catch everything.
Wow.
It was just a bite of chuck. But we had it to ourselves. You were winning off pegs that you shouldn't be winning off.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then obviously and obviously I used to do Steve's and whoever's sharing the caravan with us. We'd sort of... But it's like anything. You can tell anybody anything. Because if you can do it better than them, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Because there's little twists, and I've seen people do it and they ain't done it quite right. But I was a bit of a perfectionist anyway. If it weren't right, I'd chuck it in the bin and start again. Do you know what I mean? Did you,
when you were at White Acres and when you were fishing at this point, did you spend a lot of time prepping and practicing? Are you a big prepper and a practicer, and are you intense?
I used to be. The thing for me is, like, when I'm prepping, I'll tie 250 hooks and do 50 rigs. So I've got plenty, which will last me a long time. I've never been one for doing it every single night. White Acres is a bit different, because the problem is, at the early days, you get back, get changed, shower, and you'll be up the club, going into Nuki. Different things. So I used to do a bulk load, so I hadn't got to do it. Do you know what I mean? To save time. So, because if you don't want to miss out on a pint, do you know what I mean, up the bar or whatever we were up to. So I used to prep a lot rather than every night. So I got plenty of everything.
got a big stash. Went
big
to Whiteacres and enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Because it's you're down there. But I was mainly single back then anyway, so you just wanted to go out and enjoy yourself. You worked hard all year, and that was your time to release. And the fishing was fantastic, and we used to win lots of money and stuff. But it was a release as well.
You must have some funny memories of Whiteacres. What's your funniest memory of being down there, Grant? You've been for years and years.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've been for. I mean, I have to say, Steve Sanders is the funniest bloke I've ever stayed with. If he hadn't fell in his keep net, you know what I mean? He'd do coffee and he wouldn't have any coffee in it. He'd just have hot water and he'd always falling in. Always. He'd always come back soaking wet. Yeah.
Dorking captain
Steve Sanders.
I never had him
He fell in his keep net. That's how someone's get him out.
How?
I don't know. He's just
head first.
I can't remember if it was head first or fell in with his leg. I think it was head first.
That's dangerous.
Just clumsy.
I didn't have him down for being like that.
Mate. I mean, I spent a long time with Steve. Everyone thinks he's this like professional captain. Yeah, whatever. No, like when we go down on and we'll tell you the same. Right, lads, Super League finals and stuff like that. We'll talk about that, I suppose. But I want everybody in bed by 11 o'clock. Yeah. All right, Steve. And then he'd be out with us. We'd get him pissed. So that all went out the window.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? He was easily led as well. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's hard. When you asked me that question, I don't. Them probably the funniest things. I'm sure there's loads, but
it's got to be
to
loads,
remember. Yeah.
Off this podcast alone, right? Newquay sounds like the best night out in England. Because the amount of people that have come on like you, Grant, and just got stories upon stories.
Yeah. But some stories I can't tell you.
Like which? Of course you can.
I'm married now. It was a part of a lot of people's lives, Whiteacres, and anyone who listens to this and all the other podcasts that have talked about it. It was a different time of year, in our careers, and it was brilliant. And unless you'd been there, you can't. It's hard to imagine. You know what I mean? There's faces that aren't around anymore that you would go in the bar and they'd already be in the bar 10 points in. I don't know if this is, this story. Jack Harness, I think he was that drunk. He hadn't even gone to his caravan. And as he's drove down to his caravan, he's rolled his car with all his maggots in it still.
No.
Oh, mate.
So there's maggots everywhere.
Oh, well, everything his car was on its roof, I think.
Oh,
he went down the ditch. But that's the kind of thing it was like. But no one really cared. It was just brilliant.
Crazy.
And he's wrote his car off and that, and he's got no bait there for the rest of the week. But, them kind of Jack, I mean, I don't see Jack, I spoke to him the other week, but they're the kind of characters that were down there. Your Mickey Hughes and Jack and Goldie, who's not with us anymore, God bless him.
Yeah.
It was just fantastic.
Yeah, they're all the
It's
hydro
making me
boys.
I'm buzzing now. I've got a tingle on me.
You want to go to Whiteacres?
Yeah. But it was that environment then. Most of the Dorking team were down there and all the other teams down used to all mingle. You hadn't seen each other from month to month, but everybody met up at Whiteacres and it was just fantastic.
Do you think it was any different in terms of how easy it is to win down there? Do you think it's any different now to then? Do you think it's harder to win now, or?
Yeah, it's harder to win now.
Do you think?
I think so. The fishing's changed. There wasn't many F1s then. If there was any back then properly, it was all carp. It was all big carp, mirror carp and commons and all that sort of stuff. It was different fishing. And obviously Whiteacres and lots of had problems over the years. I've lost fish and, they have hundreds of thousands of people come in, and unfortunately they got that KHV and it wiped up the massive shoal that was on the high bank, and it was a shame. And the lake's never really been right since. And it's not. People say, got millions of pounds they could spend on fish. It's not always about that. And Clint's, I spoke to Clint several times about it. They've got so many fish in them lakes, but it just doesn't fish the same anymore.
Got you.
It's a shame.
Do you think that also people might expect more nowadays? Like we talked about earlier, the weights we used to catch then compared to what you catch on a general commercial match now, it's so different. Yeah. I remember going to Whiteacres and £100 was a big weight.
Yeah.
Big weight. When I was sort of 12, 13, 14, And now people expect to catch 180, 200, 220 pound regular.
Yeah, I see. I'm not a massive lover of big weights. I'd sooner catch 20 pound of roach than 200 pound of carp these days. But I think it's expectations of fishery owners now that you've got to just overcram your fish in the lakes for someone. What you caught today, mate? Oh, I've had 110 pound shit. Really? Shit. You know,
an amazing day's fishing.
Great, but that's look at Top Manor. That's just ridiculous.
Crazy
for me.
Crazy fishing, yeah. Brilliant fishing.
Brilliant. And fair play to the bloke who's got it it's down south. It's a long way for me. I've actually just booked a fish out ticket.
Have you?
To go, only because Ian's going and I'm going to go with Ian. But I just wanted to see it because I see that it's not for me. Don't get me wrong. I love catching fish, but if I've got to go and catch £600 on that one particular day, I'll go and do it. But I wouldn't go there every week.
No.
Because it's no different to fishing for pound F1s, really, is it? If you get behind, you ain't going to win.
You can't get up and have a week, can you?
Exactly. And then you've got 10 to 14 nets in. Who's got 14 nets?
I don't think we've got that many in warehouse.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm a sponsored angler. I've only got 5 or 6. So where'd you get 14 from? It's too many. That's too much, I think. A one-off, yeah. It's only my opinion. I don't want to be ruined or slated for it. That's my opinion. There's too many fish in the lake.
Yeah, some people will love that.
Yeah.
Some people really enjoy that.
They'll be buzzing off it. It's not for me. But fishing has definitely changed. That in that way.
How do you think big money finals have affected commercial fishing, Grant?
I think we've got too much now. We never had enough, and now we've got too much. There's too much going on, all at the same time on the same days. I've always been a big lover of let's get together and have a chat. I've got some big fish. Well, got Woodlands View down the road from me. Mike's passed away now. God bless him. I went to his funeral. People think that there's rivalry between me and Mike, and no, hang on a minute. I grew up with Mike. And then people said, "Oh, no, I didn't expect you to see you at the funeral." Why? That was
lovely bloke, Mike.
Yeah, it was a big part of my life. You know what I mean? But my point is, why are fisheries going against each other? Why don't they get their heads together and do something together?
So there's not these clashes.
Yeah. And the same, like Golden Reel, Maven Match this, Fishermania. Fishermania can do what they like. It will always sell out because it's on telly.
Yeah.
The other two aren't on telly properly. Yes, it's been video, but it's not like a Fishermania, is it?
Not on Sky Sports, is it?
And you only have to look at the payout now. Some of them have dropped. And it'll only get worse, I think. People just haven't got the money now. And I've been promised matches. And I've had all that, we'll do this for you, Grant, we'll do that for you. And it's never happened. Fine. Keep your matches yourself. Watch out, because I'm going to do my own thing.
Are you fancying running one yourself?
I'm going to do something, but it'll only be at my venue.
Yeah.
So it'll be for the anglers that are within a good area to come and do something locally, but it'll be a nice prize fund at the end.
That'd be nice.
I haven't announced it yet. I'm going to do a sailfish one, and it'll be this year, and it'll be out. So I'll tell everyone, because the problem is that, and I've noticed since I've been at the fishery, I post photographs of the sunset or this, and you know what? It's quite. I see lots of other fisheries doing what they never used to do, and I'm not saying that's because of me. But it looks like it's because I've been doing it and I'm posting this, this and this, and they're all copying.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Right? Which is great. I don't mind.
It could be that. That's
it
a compliment.
Well, it's a compliment to me.
Yeah.
But more people now are getting, on certain fisheries, are getting more awareness and stuff where they never used to before.
Have you been into the big money matches yourself from an angling point of view? Have you chased them much?
Yeah, well, I only really chased the fish show. And there's a reason behind that, because I've been that close. I've never been in the final. I've had 10 seconds.
What, in qualifiers?
Yeah.
10?
10. I had 2 in a week.
No. What's the closest you've been?
Pound and a half at Gold Valley. Twice I've been second at Gold Valley.
No.
Yeah, there was me. I can't think of the lad's name now. But we were reserves. But we knew we'd get a ticket. And we both reserves. And we drew next to each other. On is it Middle Lake? Do you know Gold Valley?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. So you go around where the house has been built now, the new house. At the back of that, the big one at the back, is that Syndicate?
I think it's
Or middle?
Syndicate.
Syndicate.
Yeah.
And up that corner, is it 1-1 something or 90? I can't. Do you know what?
Will'll tell us. Won't
Will will
he?
tell us. He'll be
He'll be
on it,
listening. Yeah.
And we were fish for fish, and I've had a skimmer, and this is my down. I had a skimmer. You're not allowed to have silvers in. John will not weigh you in, and I chucked my skimmer back and got beat. Yeah.
And it would have been over £1.
It would have been.
Oh, Grant.
I know. Not many people know that.
Not many people
Not many
would
people.
admit that on a podcast either.
Yeah, I didn't have any other nets,
Ah.
so I had to put the skimmer back, and I think it would have gone over.
So you could have been in for show.
Yeah.
How many big money finals you been in?
Well, I've been in Golden Reel. Not Golden. Yeah, was it Golden Reel then?
Yeah.
Golden Reel. Been in that one. Mave matches. Obviously the Parkdean. Been in that about 4 or 5 times. So I've been in a few big finals.
What's the closest you've come? Obviously, apart from winning the Parkdean.
Well, I've had 3. The first skull was only 12 in the final then. First ever Skull Masters. That was 20,000 quid, and they'd actually roped it off. So what would be peg 9 on Jenny's?
Yeah.
Roped it straight across to the 40s.
There it is.
That's the peg, and I drew what would now roughly be, what peg would that be? About 4 or 5 that was.
On Jenny's.
And it was like just damp ground bait and just fishing maggots. And Steve Sanders was actually in the same final as me. He was opposite me to my left. Don't think that was him in the background, but he was just one up. And Steve was going mental.
Why?
Because I was catching. Alex Murray was catching as well, but he was fishing a bomb. And obviously they, no disrespect, they hook themselves, don't they? It's and I'm fishing like nice and tight and just tapping little maggots in with a bit of ground bait. And the cameras were flashing, but they were standing up behind me flashing. And every time I did that, I couldn't get a fish. My peg went blank, and I got beat by £1.50
for 20 grand.
For 20 grand, yeah. Steve Sanders was going mental.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got beat then, and then the second year, the year after that, there was still 12 in the fight. I mean, the weather was horrendous. You'd never seen wind like it. We thought it was going to get cancelled. Anyway, we fished. The wind died down a little bit. Harry Billings gone 14.5, I think he went, with a piece of cat meat on, and he's beat me by £11 5 ounce. And the way the ghosted that he caught, and it was £11 5 ounce.
Never.
Yeah.
Any
One
weird
fish
ass
again.
stuff turns out like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was gutted. Like 2 years on the trot. That was
20 grand apart.
20 grand. I think it was second. It might have been 25 the second one.
Right.
But yeah, and then obviously the Maver matches
At Larford.
at Larford, the first one.
Did Power win?
Powers beat me. Yeah, I foul hooked a fish down the edge, pulled it, trying to pull it through the lilies there, snapped my pole. I'd been broke 4 times before that as well, so I was fishing quite light, just on a barm and feeding pellets over the top, and he's beat me. Yeah, that's the look on my face after the match.
Flipping heck, Grant. You look older then.
I do, don't I? Yeah, I do look older.
Flipping heck.
That was £50,000 draining out of me, that was. Yeah, he's landed a fish after the whistle, and he's beat me by 2 kilo.
Oh.
Yeah, that fish cost me winning that.
Great for Powers. 50 grand
Yeah.
deficit for
So
you.
3 matches, 1 fish on each one, £100,000. Yeah.
That's the lines that we're dealing with in them
Yeah.
finals, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's close, isn't it? But you've got to be a strong character to carry that off, I think. Of course it hurts. God, it's 100,000. That's actual cash in your pocket. You know what I mean? But,
Isn't it crazy that that's like a bite,
yeah.
a bit of luck, a fish, the one that you foul hooked, hook it in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like it's the lines and the fate that's involved in it.
Yeah.
It's spine-tinglingly
it's
close.
frightening, mate. Yeah, it's so close. But there's other like UK champs, for instance. The last round. I should never have won that.
Really?
I was up there, but you got I think it's Pete Bailey and Darren Cox, 5 and 6 points in front of me. I've won my section. Joint first, actually, in my section with Kieran. We both had the same weight, and they've both blown out.
So you've ended up winning
I've ended
UK
up winning.
champs?
Cameras weren't on me, very rarely, so I've had it to myself. I've had no cameras behind me all day. I've won my section, and I've ended up winning the UK champs.
There you go. So like sometimes it goes against you, but then other times there it is, UK champs.
Yeah.
Boston.
That was the last round.
You can pull off a pink shirt, can't you?
Yeah.
Eh?
Chris Van der Feet thinks he's Mr. Pink, but I'll tell you, I'll take him. I'll take him every time. But yeah, but that's to win that. Some proper names on there, like.
Oh, frightening trophy, that one.
And it just shows you, even though you might not be in that race, just keep going to the end. Because, I should never have won that. I should have been second or third.
I always remember you winning the Knockout Cup at Docklow.
Yeah.
That was a close match.
Yeah, with Darren.
Davis.
Darren Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, a phenomenal angler, Darren. To be in the final with Darren was good. And I know Darren had been practicing. And, he'll probably even admit it himself that he practiced and he caught really, really shallow. I think I was at Whiteacres. I nearly had to cancel it because my baby was due.
Wow.
Ava was due to be born and I might not have even be able to get there. But anyway, it went ahead and I walked past Darren, his kit, just like phenomenal. He must have had 15 top kits, 20 top kits set up, but they were all the same. So I set my 5 up. I knew Docklow. I grew up there as a kid.
It's not a million miles for you, was it?
It's an hour, probably an hour drive because it's not an easy drive to get there. So I set mine up, but I went a bit deeper. We'd had a frost the night before. And, luckily for me, I ended up beating him. I had the first, it was over 2 days. I had 55 pound of roach and a few little skimmers and a crucian. And then the second day, I had 20 odd, and Darren had a little bit less than me.
Got ya.
But, for me, it was brilliant to win. But because Darren was such a nice, I gained a friend through it as well. It's really nice that not just won that, but I won a friendship with Darren.
Yeah, he's a lovely bloke.
He's a lovely bloke, yeah,
and a phenomenal angler.
Phenomenal, and to beat Darren at that game, because Darren, I didn't know when I was growing up, Darren was one of the best caster fishermen shallow in the country, from what I was told. Yeah, it was brilliant.
That competition for me holds a lot of prestige just because of actually getting to that final. You have to fish against the best anglers in the country across a massive variety of venues, rivers, canals, lakes, commercials.
Yeah.
So to even get there in the first place, you got down to that final 2, then won it.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of match deserves a lot more of a prize to what it ever had, to be honest.
No, you're right. I mean, obviously I don't do on the rivers these days, but Dave Harrell was actually running it at the time. And when we went on the Thames, I went and practiced with... I think it was Simon Willsmore and maybe Steve or someone else. But I drew up the other end. I mean, Neil McKinnon won the day with like 200 pound of bream.
Yes, I remember that.
Do you remember? He had a massive weight. And there was, I can't remember, it was 8 going through anyway. And I just fished a waggler down the middle, spraying maggots. And even Dave Harrell said to me, I never knew you could do that. I said, well, I was, that's where I started on rivers. And he said, fair play. He said, and I can't remember what weight, 8 or 10 pound, and got through.
Yeah.
And Dave said, fair play to you, because I didn't, everyone classes you as a commercial angler, and they don't realise what you can do and if you can do that sort of fishing.
I think that brings us on to like the team side of things, like the variety of fishing you've done.
Yeah.
Like I know you fish for Dorking, and what I'm going to say are definitely the glory days for that team, because they won absolutely everything. Probably before I came into team fishing as well, when the Super League was on. I mean, how many Super League finals did you win with Dorking?
10 on the trot.
10
finals.
Super League finals.
Yeah. Phenomenal. I mean, it's never been done again anyway.
Never.
It's stopped now, but I don't think anybody ever won anything like that.
How did you get into Dorking team?
So, there's a story behind this. I was with Starlets, Garblino Starlets, and I can't remember how long I'd been with them, but a Super League final again come up, and that was when we were using liquidised meat. So I was asked to prepare the bait because it was at Hayford. So Hayford's like a snake lake, so you can fish a far bank. But the first day, Starlets were, I think, 10 points behind. Right, so I prepared all the bait, all the liquidised meat, and because you're not doing one person's bait, and you're doing, I think it was 10 or 11 in the team then, I got back up at 4 o'clock in the morning and re-prepared it, put it all through the blender again, and got it all ready. was, it was okay. It wasn't the best that I thought it could be, but I couldn't do it again. It was too much to do. So I did the draw. They asked me to do the draw, so I did the draw. Anyway, a long story short, we won every section.
Wow. This is with Starlets?
Starlets, yeah. And obviously, Dean was with Essex then.
Dean Barlow?
Yeah. They all hated me.
I bet they did.
They hated me. Because, and again, not blowing my own trumpet, if I hadn't have done that, they wouldn't have won. Shadow of a doubt, they wouldn't have won. And for me, it upset me because when you've done something, and I did do something for that, they wouldn't have won it without me.
No.
And I never got a mention. And it's not all about...
were you not actually fishing in the team?
Yeah, no, I fished in the team.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
I fished. I won my section as well. But it's not all about me. And don't get me wrong, it's not the Grant Albutt show. I'm not saying that. But when you've done that and they've won the Super League final, which is prestigious back then, and you don't get a mention, and I've drawn, someone the best peg on the lake, and certain people on end pegs, and I never even got and thanks to Grant for sorting the bait out, that we wouldn't have done nothing. And he hurt me, that did, because I'm still coming through the ranks and that, and and I left Shakespeare to go to them as well. Do you know what I mean? They poached me from Shakespeare and whatever, and then I obviously spoke to Stevie Sanders about it, and he said, "Well, come and join us then. Come and join us." I had a good chat about it with Steve at Whiteacres, and he said, "If you're not happy, we'll have you." I said, "What, really?" He went, "Yeah, come join us," and that's how I ended up with Dorking.
Wow.
So. Yeah,
and you didn't have a bad career with them, did you? Flipping.
Not really. I mean, Steve's.
I'm going to have to throw this up as well because I've been dying to get this one out there.
This is great.
Oh right, yeah.
That is a
What a
great picture.
That's an old photograph of me and Will. That is.
Will Ray, for anyone listening and not watching, right? There's a trophy of a very, very handsome-looking Grant, earring on, old traditional Team Dower Dorking shirt on. Will Raisin in the same. Will looks about 12.
Got so much hair, isn't it?
Yeah.
We used to set the mickey out of Will because he used to have a little bit of red. If he watches this, he'll be laughing at him.
Go on then.
Because he used to have a little bit of red in his hair.
Did he?
And he used to call it catnip.
For the girls.
Bit of catnip. Girls love it. Yeah, he used to have a little red, like a red line going through it.
What, like not naturally? You used to have it put
No, he
in?
had it put in.
I never knew this.
Honestly, mate, yeah. I did spend a lot of time with Will, to be honest.
Yeah.
We don't see. I haven't spoken to him for quite a while. Things change, and he's family, and I got family, and
What's with the monkey in the cup?
so he was our mascot.
The monkey?
That monkey there. So remember the PG advert?
Yes.
Monkey. Oh, monkey. Yeah, so we used to talk to each other like that. So we were at Whiteacres. It was Ben Leach. Ben, obviously, he plays golf now, doesn't he? And I did the draw for us. I always did the draw for the team.
Yeah.
And it's a shame I haven't got it. I had a T-shirt with a number 7 on it, right? And every time I went to do the draw, this T-shirt was absolutely ruined. Holes in it and everything. But when you wear something, it becomes lucky. So I always put the number 7 T-shirt on and always went to the draw in that T-shirt.
Right.
I ain't got it anymore. I wish I had it because I would have framed it. But monkey there, and I did the draw anyway at Whiteacres. I was on peg 45 on Match Lake. Ben Leach is on 27. I did the team. It was just a mega draw. I think we won every section on Match Lake. And like Ben Leach is saying, "Go and get Monkey Crane," and lot of things like that. And that monkey there travelled everywhere with me. He's been in my van for 20 odd years.
Wow.
Honest to God, that's how old that monkey is.
Crazy.
So we put him in the cup. Look, brilliant.
Absolutely awesome.
But for me. That's nice memories. That's brilliant.
How old are you and Will there?
Oh, I don't know. Late 20s. I would think.
And it's mad to think, like for me, I'm looking at you there and I'm just thinking you've been doing it at the top level, and Will as well, for so long, really.
I mean, yeah, Will more than me, obviously. Will was... the first time I ever met Will, my recollection of Will was at Moorlands Farm, and he used to have a flat cap. It was tartan.
Yep. We've had a picture of that on the podcast a few times, actually. Yeah.
That was my first ever time I ever met Will. But I didn't know him then. I spoke to him. Didn't know him.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. What's, like the Dorking situation then?
Yeah.
9 or 10 Super League finals.
Oh.
What made that team so good then, Grant? Why were they so good? How did you, what edges did you have?
I just think we were a proper team. We shared everything. There was no individuality in it. We were a unit, and we shared everything. There's a lot of teams that have got individual anglers in them that want to win it for themselves, selfish. That's my opinion, and I'm not far from being wrong from that, because we shared every single thing. There was no selfish people in our team. Steve wouldn't allow it. Do you know what I mean? So we'd have a proper meeting. We talk about everything. Tell it, how have you caught today? Or Steve would set you a goal. You're going to go and fish that today. You're going to go and fish that. And when we come back together, I want to know where you've done it. Feeding, and we shared, and we were a tight unit. We went out together. Like, especially Whiteacres was perfect, because we'd all get down there. But if you were an outsider looking in at us practicing, you'd be like that. Dorking, they're all messing about. Because we used to have a laugh. We enjoyed it, but we were serious. Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. We were sitting on peg 45, or we'd been fishing, and then Steve...
Go on. A lot of Steves in fishing.
Yeah, Steve Gardner.
Steve Gardner.
Practicing on peg 45 on Match Lake.
Yeah.
Right? So we all went and piled behind him. And Steve's very serious. He don't really mess about too much. So I said, Kizaku, as you do, I've hooked the far bank and the top kit's come off. So his top kit is now on the far bank.
Right.
So we've got the boat, which was right next to us, got the boat, and I've got in the boat with somebody else to go and get this top kit. So all the other lads thought it was funny to start firing ground bait and pellets at me while I'm in the boat. Of which I said, next one to do that is when I get on that bank, he's going in the lake. I'm not even joking, like, you know what I mean? But like, and Steve's like going mad because his kit's in the lake now and we might break it, and he's proper like. And then if we went out of a night time, Steve Gardner would, he would be out late, and we'd all come back running past the caravan, banging on the caravan door, knowing he was asleep, banging on his door, waking him up because Steve was so prepped up, and it was difficult to tell Steve what to do because he was his own man, and I get that. And we even had to drill it into him about this liquid ointment. I'm not sure about it. Look, this is the way to do it. You're going to win. If you do this, you're going to win. Trying to tell Stevie Gardner that, who's like God,
It's difficult, isn't it?
It's very difficult to tell someone who's so well known and one of the best. He's in the England team then as well.
Yeah,
it's very difficult to tell someone who's stuck in their ways as well. And we were always a little bit worried about Steve because he always come like to do his own little thing, but as a team. But that's why we were so successful. We shared everything. We had a laugh. We enjoyed it as well. We were serious, but we did mess about a lot.
Brilliant. I love it.
Even like Steve, we'd be in the caravan, and like if I was chatting with someone like more messing about, Steve Sanders would pull me up. Oi, Albutt, shut up, talking. All right, calm yourself down, son. Do you know what I mean? But he was serious. No matter who you were.
What was it like fishing under Steve Sanders?
It's just brilliant, mate. It's just, he was one of the lads as well. He's serious. I mean, he's won everything. Everything there is to win in fishing, he's won. And obviously, when he's become the captain of the England team, didn't he, in the end? I think his illness obviously took him away from that. He's okay now, I think. But I think Steve is just phenomenal angler, very knowledgeable. Just a lovely man. You know what I mean?
I'd love to get him on the podcast because I've got a massive place in my heart for Steve. He was the first person who ever picked me to go away with the England team. Yeah. And anything I ever did as a youngster, I've got him to thank for. Definitely, I'd love to get him in and have a good chat with Steve. Yeah, he's. I love him to bits, mate. I mean, obviously, again, he stepped down from Dorking, so I did. It was never going to be the same team. And people talk about teams now, and this is no disrespect to anyone because I know you fish for Drennan Barnsley Blacks. Drennan Barnsley Blacks are the best to do it. Yeah, they are now because they haven't got anyone to beat. There isn't. Do you know what I mean? And that's not been because you have got a phenomenal team. Yeah. There's no one to beat you. Nobody. Back then when we were a team, we'd beat you.
but now there's nobody to beat you. And that's not disrespectful to any of the other teams. They just haven't got the quality.
Why do you think that is, Grant? How's it ended up like that? How's team fishing
I'll tell you what
ended up?
happens. You want to fish for the best team.
Mm.
And it's like when I was with Shakespeare, Mark Downs used to take people from other teams to weaken them.
Mm.
And you wanted to be with Starlets because they were the best in the Midlands. It's a fact. People want to go and fish with the best. You know, they're going to go and fish for a lesser team. They're going to want to fish for the best team. Who's the best team up north? You. There's no one to beat you. Team fishing's gone, though.
So other teams, what you're saying, other teams don't get the chance to get powerful because as soon as a certain angler gets to a certain
Comes through,
level,
bosh.
Dorking or Barnsley or Starlets go.
Not so much Dorking. We only had about 14, 15 people in our team. Steve was very select. I mean, he had 3 people from Bristol, which was Ben, Des and Mayo.
Yeah. Steve Mayo.
Steve Mayo.
Yeah.
You know, I met him out when I went out in Thailand.
Did you?
Yeah, and we'll meet up again.
Is he all right?
Yeah, he's lovely. He's loving it, mate. But, you know, they used to come to Moorlands in their Daiwa Dorking tops, and you used to look at them and go, flipping heck, got a Daiwa Dorking top on there. It was powerful. Do you know what I mean? And then there was me. I was the only Brummy, like, and the rest of them were all, well, I call them Cockneys.
Yeah, like Toby.
Anyone down
Is
here.
Toby a Cockney?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Anyone south
Anyone,
of Birmingham?
anything to do with London is a Cockney.
Right, okay.
End of. Right?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. But, you know, and we just got on. We just hit off. We were brilliant. They weren't allowed to do any meat fishing down here. It was always banned. So I taught them. Well, not taught them, but showed them a lot of stuff, how to fish meat, all the London lads. And vice versa, I got it back. Spent a lot of time with Will over different periods of times, and he showed me a lot of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's all about sharing with people.
Do you see many of the old Dorking
Nah.
gang now, Grant? Do you miss it?
Yeah, I do miss it, yeah. You know, when Steve stepped down, I didn't want to fish anymore for Dorking. I do miss it because you'll never get back what you had. It's hard to explain that to people if you've never been there. But it was a brilliant team. Like, you know, Gary Pook. I mean, he's just such a character.
He's so funny, Pookie, isn't he?
You know?
He is so funny.
You know, and we went to Thirsk, actually. I'll tell you a quick story.
Go on then.
So we went up to Thirsk on a Super League final.
That's up like North Yorkshire.
Yeah, Craig Kent's place.
Yes.
Super League final. We're stopping in this like bed and breakfast, and there was 4 of us in a cabin. So there was Ben, Pookie, me, 3 beds. It was like a prison camp. And then Will sleeping in the front room, right? So I'm lying in bed and I'm thinking, what's that smell? So William had took his socks off and put them under my pillow. Right? Soaking wet socks, stinking, man. I mean, it was vile. They're all giggling their heads off. Like. Anyway, so I thought, right. There was this little small cactus on one of the shelves. So we took it out the thing and put it in Pookie's bed. So Pookie's gone into bed like screaming because this cactus is stuck to his leg. I won't say what he said, but and then we get rid of that and then we put it in his shoe. Do you know what I mean? Just little things. And I mean, I don't know if I should tell you this story.
You definitely should know.
I tell you this story?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So we all went to the pub. All the Dorking team now, and it was the lad. Can't remember. Anyway, we all went to the pub. So I've gone for a wee. I'm in the toilet having a wee. This lad in there. He said, right there, pal. He said, any chance I can have a look at your willy? Right. I won't swear like. I said, are you serious? I said, mate, you get levered for saying things like that. So the best thing you'd better do is do one like. 2 hours later, I've gone back in the toilet. This same lad's in there. And he's looked over. He went, oh, it's a fair one. And he's big as my mate. So I grabbed him round the throat and I rammed him up the wall, right? And I said, mate, what are you doing in the toilet looking at men's willies? With that, 2 of his mates come out the toilet. They were both in there together. Obviously, I didn't know at the time, but they were obviously doing a bit of drugs or whatever, coke.
Right.
So now I'm in a situation here. There's 3 of them in the toilet and another one come in. So I used this lad as a shield. So he was always going to go off like. So anyway, I've levered this kid. I'm using him as a shield, and I had a few digs, but I've knocked 4 of them out. Got out the toilet, I've gone into the bar and my T-shirt, because it all happened really quickly, my T-shirt is just ruined. You know that? What's happened to you? I said, Pookie, come here, give me a hand. Kick the toilet door back open. There's blood everywhere. And this lad's like, no more. I said, all right. I said, but don't ever do that again. I said, you're just doing it to the wrong mate. Anyone else, you know what I mean? Anyway, there was a few words exchanged. So anyway, I've gone back in the bar. Simon Willsmore's not the biggest bloke, is he?
He's definitely not a
Give me
fighter
his
either.
jumper to put on.
Okay.
So I've squeezed this jumper on. It looked like it had been sprayed on. With that, the door's kicked open. This bloke's like, who's it, my brother?
No.
I did it. So he's come running round. So I've knocked him out as well. You won't believe it. You leave this up first, would you? And then his missus is on scratching me. Anyway, it all calmed down. They all got kicked out. And then the old Bill turned up and arrested them because they were doing drugs in the toilet.
Ah, right.
But what happened, I'd pushed my thumb into me. I pushed it this way. And I had a lump come on my hand over a period of months. And what happened is all your guides in your hand, you know when your guides are moving there? Well, they got like a liquid around them. And I'd bust one of them inside.
Ooh.
So I had to have an operation. That's what the scar's there.
Ah, I can see it, yeah.
But I couldn't fish for 3 days. I can't think of the lad's name, but every single time, every day we practiced, everyone shouting across the lake to me, Grant, show us your willy. All week, I had it all week. But that's the story. Like.
You know that after telling that story on the podcast, you're going to get that
Every
all
time.
the time now.
People coming into Moorlands. Grant, show us your
Show us
willy.
your willy.
Look at Willie, mate.
I mean, why would you be in the toilet doing that to men?
It'd be
you know?
different if someone like Tom Scully sort of asked you. You'd just show him, wouldn't you? But
Well, I actually remember going to Sandra's
anniversary.
25th anniversary.
Yeah.
Times. I've gone in the toilet.
Yeah.
He's in the toilet having a wee with his pants around his ankles. He just pulled his trousers straight down like that, and he's just standing there having a wee. So we're all smacking his bum we were.
Oh, I can remember. You
Remember
gave
that?
me a right
Give you a
one.
right smack on the bum, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it had a
Doesn't
massive,
surprise
Yeah.
me. It
massive
just
red
doesn't.
handprint, didn't I? Flipping heck, I can remember that now. Yeah.
Brilliant. But
dear.
yeah, we had some good times.
Wow.
Really good times with the team. There's loads to say. You know, it's just remembering them all.
Did you win that Super League?
We won that as well. We all said as well that Dren and Barnsley Blacks, they never practiced.
No.
They were very, very arrogant. I thought
It will have been Maver Barnsley then, won't it?
possibly, but
Yeah.
they never practiced.
No. Probably
we-
thought that they knew what to do.
They
there.
did actually, yeah. And I know all their lads, and I'm not being disrespectful to them at all because we sorted it. We had a method and it worked.
What was it? Can you tell us?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, it makes no difference to me now. So basically, we got our 16-metre poles out, or 13-metre poles, wherever they were. We leaded up, dropped it in, marked our line on
When
our...
you say leaded up, you mean...
Oh, sorry, we put a heavy lead in
Yeah.
our cups, practicing, shipped out, dropped it in, and then we just tightened up to that, and then we marked it on our line. So every time we chucked it to the middle and then reeled it into where our line was, everyone thinks you chuck into the middle, but actually you only chuck into 14 metres.
Wow.
So we were baiting up with our topping up our pods. People thinking we're fishing on a pole line at 14.5 metres, and we were catching on 14.5 metres, but chucking our rods out to the middle, reeling them back to your line, so you're on your 14.5 metre line.
Meg, what bait did you use?
Meat.
So you're big potting meat in. Great. Why did you not just fish a pole over the top of it?
Because everyone knows what you're doing then.
Wow.
Everyone thinks we're catching in the middle, we weren't.
Awesome. Love it.
So but that was one of our tactics anyway. The other one was on the other smaller lakes, they're all full of silvers. And we was catching roach shallow. They have like 40 pound of roach shallow. Or I did. I was catching castor shallow like.
Great fishing.
Yeah,
that,
that was
innit?
fantastic, mate. They were the best times. The team events were the best times.
I always remember you had them KC Carper caster floats.
Yeah.
They were so good, them. Really
You can't get
cool.
them anymore.
No. I bet you've got some, haven't you?
I've got a few left.
Right.
And you know, like when you pull over a fish and you think, oh, that's okay, and you've lost the eye or something. But Steve Sanders has got a few left, so
Has
hopefully
he?
I'll get a few off him, yeah.
Mega. I've got to ask you, Grant, like, you had an intense match fishing life then. Travelling the country, fishing for one of the best teams that there's ever been. How did that affect your social, family sort of life? What kind of life did you lead aside from your fishing at that time?
Well, obviously, I mean, so how long have I been with Nicola? I've been with Nicola about, I was 14. So back then, I was probably single some of the times.
Mm.
And obviously, being with Nicola now, it's like you've got to have a good woman. You have. It's the most selfish sport ever. Saturdays and Sundays, you want to go out. You can't go out too late because you've got to be back up. I mean, it didn't matter when you were single because we go out, we get drunk, and be back on the bank the next morning. It didn't matter.
Mm.
But when you're family, you got family. It's like my circumstance has changed massively. You have a family and, everything changes. Single lads, they're not for single lads and they can go and fish 3, 4, 5 times a week or whatever they want to do.
Mm.
But for me, the biggest thing about fishing, because it's so selfish, you need to have a good woman behind you. It's massive.
Mm.
She's on her own most of the time.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It must be difficult for them at times.
Oh, it must be so difficult.
Yeah, you've got to have a strong bond. There's lots of fishermen they've separated and stuff like that, or the wife starts going out, or it's But yeah, I'm so lucky. I can do whatever I want to do within reason.
You've probably got a rare circumstance.
Possibly, yeah.
You've got a unicorn,
Yeah,
haven't you?
that's what I'm going to start calling her.
Yeah, the unicorn.
You are a unicorn,
Nicola, we're going to nickname you the unicorn. Yeah.
But yeah, it's special. I am lucky.
Mm.
I am lucky. She never very rarely she moans at me about doing anything. But to be fair, I'm at the fishery now. Till we get it all done. But yeah, she's a good girl.
Makes a big difference, that.
Massive, yeah.
Do you what do you think it takes to be the ultimate match angler, Grant? I mean, you've got an awful lot of experience across a wide range of venues and you've witnessed quite a few generations of fishing now. What do you think it takes to be the ultimate match angler?
Well, you've got to be dedicated and divert. You've got to be able to diversify. You've got to be able to do everything. You've got to be able to chuck a waggler, feeder, method is in with that. Pole fishing, whether it be on the bottom or shallow. You just got to be clued up. There's too many good anglers about now. You ain't got it to yourself anymore because of social media. Like I've touched on it before. Without them for years ago, we were working it out for ourselves. You couldn't pick a phone up and go, "Oh, how do I fish that place?" You can do that now. We had to wait for the paper to come out. Or you just sort it yourself. If you've got an angling brain, I used to have not many people know, so I used to have my own column in a magazine, Midland Angler.
Yeah.
And trying to explain, I used to have a bloke used to ghostwrite it for me, because it's very difficult to tell someone how to fish something, or why have you done that? Well, I don't know. I just thought it was the right thing to do. I think if you've got an angling brain, you will adapt very quickly to things. It's like the weekend, like I try and explain to people about high pressure and stuff like that. They don't understand it.
It's in air pressure.
Air pressure. I just put £260 of silvers into a lake on top of what's already in there. Couldn't get a bite. Just check my barometer, 1,037. It's mega high. And it affects the fish. And people don't understand it. And I spoke to a bloke this week, and he's actually downloaded that barometer.
Is it on a phone? You can download it?
Yeah, it's free. It's free app.
I'm
Little things like that. Do you know what I mean? So, well, why not catching? Let's just check the air pressure. Oh, it's mega high. That's probably why. And it is why.
Specimen boys do it a lot.
Yeah. You've got to, it's not, can't get a bite. Shithole. I even say it myself, and then they all start laughing around the lake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds someone else saying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a reason why you're not catching fish. Yes, it's winter. I get that. But silverfish, and they'll always have they'll have a go. And when you've only had 6 bites all day, there's some reason why. And that has got to be the reason why. The air pressure is so, even Sunday, it was higher than it was Saturday. It was 1,045.
That's ridiculously high.
So.
I do a bit of barbel fishing, Grant, in winter, and I've noticed whenever a big low pressure comes in, you always catch loads of barbel and big uns.
Yeah. But with low pressure comes different weather. Wind, rain.
Overcast.
Yeah.
Mild. Yeah.
But I think hangers, it's a free download. Why am I catching today? Let's just check the air pressure. Mega high.
There you go. You've heard it, folks.
You know.
Tell you what, you should be getting commission on
commission
barometer
on
downloads. They'll be through the roof.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of serious fishing, team fishing, obviously I know you had a little bit of time with the England feeder team, and that was a part of your fishing for a short space of time. How did that come about?
Well, I'll be honest with you. When it first come about, I didn't even go to the trials because I'll be honest with you, I didn't think I was good enough. I know some serious feeder anglers out there, bream anglers that are far superior than me, but the agreement was that if you want to get in the fishing team, you had to go on a trial, and they weren't prepared to do it, and neither was I. And I sat down at Whiteacres actually, and Tommy said, "Why didn't you go to the trials?"
Tommy Pickering, manager.
Yeah, and I said, "Well, I don't know." He said, you are a winner. I want you in my team. I want you to come to the trials." So I went to the trials, and I got in the team. And I know there was loads of people out there saying, how's he got in that team? Da, da, da. Well, I went to the trial and I was picked. That's why I was in that team. If you'd have gone in before me, because you're better than me at it. I'm not the biggest chucker in the world. I'll admit it. And I even had Mike Dagnall, Mick Dagnall, good friend of mine.
Lovely bloke.
Yeah, and he can cast. He even took me for lessons. I didn't pay him, he's my mate. Just so I could chuck it 100 yards. Because everyone thinks I can chuck 100 yards. Well, let me tell you now, you can't. How if I chuck that? 85. No, try 60. Do you know what I mean?
You see that a lot.
It's, mate, all the time now. And when you chucked it 100 yards, it's a long way.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to have the right gear to do it. So anyway, I went on the trial and I got picked. And obviously, I think I took Dean's place. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really want to go through the whole lot because for me, it wasn't the best experience. I'm going to be honest.
Where did you go, Grant?
So I went to South Africa.
Long old way to go.
Long way to go. A lot of people know some of the story. They don't know the full story. Just have a little drink. It was supposed to be the best time of my life, I'll be honest with you. And it wasn't. And I'm not going to go through the whole story because, I don't want to bring it all back up. We're talking, me and Tommy had words. I felt that I wasn't treated very well. And for me, I'm an angler. You can try and take me to a place and try and test me. Test me for what? How I'm going to react to anything? Well, I'm an angler. I'm going to knock you out because you haven't picked me for the team. It's not me. If someone, that's the Dorking thing. If you're better than me on the day, here's my shirt. I'll give you my shirt because you're better than me on the day, and I'll run the bank for you, and I will run it properly as well. It doesn't matter to me if someone's better than you on the day. Stand back, take it on the chin, but don't take me thousands of miles away from my family to try and test me to see how I'm going to be, because you will get a reaction from me, and he did at one point. But I'll be honest with you, after 5 days, I was on the phone to my wife, get me a flight coming home.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is interesting to hear because we talk about international fishing a lot on the show, and it's always everyone's super positive experience. So not dwelling on it, it is interesting to hear that it's not for everyone. I
mean, I'll be honest with you, and that, you'll hear it off if you spoke to people outside of this who was there. I should have fished. I didn't fish. I took all that time out and money it cost me to go there, and I should have fished. I caught fish every day, very consistent out there, and I didn't fish, and I should have fished. And I'll stand by myself. If I'd have fished, we would have won gold. We won bronze. We would have won gold. That's a big statement, but I'm telling you now, because people didn't listen, and people in that team shouldn't be in that team. That's my opinion, and if anyone wants to stand next to me and say you're wrong, I'll correct them. Because there's a reason. If I was captain, it wouldn't be the same team it is now. The ringers were fantastic. Before I say anything, they were amazing, the pair of them. But yeah, it's everyone knows who my partner was, and I felt that I was let down big time. We still don't speak. Shame, we were best mates. Best mates. Come to my wedding, stopped at my house. I didn't deserve to be treated the way I felt I was treated by him. But it's... And when I come back and I had my medal and the rest of it, I chucked it in the cupboard. I've grown up a bit since then. And I thought, you know what? It was an achievement, that was. So my wife had a massive... So I hadn't got my shirt. I got rid of it. I chucked my shirt away. I chucked my tracksuit bottoms away. I buried a shirt with my dad.
Take your time, mate.
Anyway, Nicola had his memorabilia done for me. So it's a big frame with a shirt. Dean Barlow gave me his shirt with the tie and the medals and everything. And I thought, you know what? I've been there. I've done it. I didn't fish. I was part of the team. But I need people to see that. It's something that was part of my life. And it's on the wall of the calf.
I think for somebody who's won as much as you have in fishing and been about for as long as you have, and known as many people in angling, I think you should be really proud of the fact you've been and fished for England. Like, no one will ever take that away from you.
No, I know.
You got picked to represent Queen Country, Three Lions of your art.
Yeah.
Like you say, that I'm massively patriotic, especially towards fishing for my country, and like, there's only a select few can ever do that, and you've done it. Doesn't matter if it was a good experience or bad.
And maybe if I hadn't have reacted the way I did, when I came back, because I was upset that I didn't get picked then for Ireland, for lots of reasons. I won't go into that. And I told Tommy to shove it, basically. If I'd have kept my mouth shut and kept myself down, I probably would still be there. Have I got time to do that anymore? Not really. So I'd have probably left anyway. But yeah, like I say, I've been there, I've done it, I experienced it. It wasn't the best experience I wanted it to be, because it was for me, every angler's dream to fish for their country at no matter what level or whatever, the float team, the feeder team, whatever. But yeah, it was nice to be picked. I have good and bad memories of it, so, and everyone's got their own story to it.
Thanks for sharing it.
No, it's all right, obviously.
I know that were an hard one for you talking about that.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about whether or not you would want to talk about it or not, so...
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I think people involved in that setup and not involved in it will appreciate you saying what you did and your opinions on it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And like I say... me and Tommy sorted things out. I went to Whitecake. It was awkward. Massively awkward. Tommy will tell you the same. It was massively awkward. I drew the same section as Tommy at the Whitetakers.
You were always going to, weren't you, after
We
that?
never spoke. I looked up to him as, he's one of my heroes, and to not speak, and I phoned him up. I said, are you in tonight? He said, yeah. And I said, look, I'll come and see you. And I walked in, he put his arms around me, had a big cuddle. And
But round at his lodge at Whiteacres?
Yeah. But I told him, I didn't go around there saying, I'm sorry. I told him how I felt. Tommy's a strong character. He's been around a long time. Lovely, lovely, lovely man.
Yeah, he is.
I didn't agree with what he said, and I told him I didn't agree. And like I say, I hope he don't watch this back and think, oh, we're back. No, this is just me. I'm not here to fall out of anybody. Just telling my side of the story. I haven't told all the story. I don't want to. I don't want to bring it all back up too much. I've said what I've had to say, and I'll leave it there, But yeah, it's one of them. You're gonna have friends and you're gonna fall out over fishing and whatever. But if you can make up again, life's too short.
Yeah.
If my partner now, and everyone knows who it is, come to me and said, look, life's too short, man. I'm really sorry for what happened. He thinks I'm gonna kill him. Not at all. I'm 51 years old now, Yeah, back then I probably would have done. But I don't want people to think I just want to hurt people. I'm not like that's not me. Yeah. It's not my character.
It's nice to move on, mate.
It is nice. I've moved on. I've moved on, and I've heard him say good things about the fishery.
Yeah,
people have told me what he's been saying and stuff like that. So fair play to him. But
good. I just want to say, mate, massive respect for sharing that. Honestly, fair play to you. Before we move on, something else I've been done, share. Before we move on from the England scene, slightly different angle. I hope you don't mind me throwing this up, but we were talking cars off camera, weren't we? And this story come up. And am I right in this saying this occurred in the run up to being on the England team. Have I got that right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a car through BMW, and I just happened to speak to the director of that there and say, "Do you ever sponsor anybody?"
I just think, Matt, I wanted to throw it out because for me this was mental. Like
yeah.
an angler, and it's no disrespect to anglers, but an angler has got a sponsorship from like BMW.
You don't hear of it.
That blew my
No, it's
mind.
not,
I thought
no.
that was like, I thought that was like the coolest thing.
That was fantastic at the time for me. It's quite big news because obviously nobody outside the sport was sponsored
No,
by a company like that.
you don't hear of it, do you?
Nah.
Like everyone's sponsored by people within the
trade,
industry
yeah.
and the trade and stuff like that. But you've got like a BMW sponsorship.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you told me that, I thought, yeah, that's cool. That is.
I mean, I did say to you, I didn't capitalise on it properly. To be fair, I didn't get my car for free. I got a great discount, and then I didn't have to pay for anything. Even when I went to South Africa, they would have paid all my expenses, but I didn't claim it. I never.
No, fair play.
That's me.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
To have that on my shirt was just fun. I look like, I haven't spoke about it, but Sandra sponsors me. She sponsored me for so many years. I'm honoured to be sponsored by Sandra Halkin Hunt because her clothing is phenomenal.
Mega.
And she's looked after me. And I went up to her and they designed it all for me. And when I got all my new Gore-Tex through, because I was with Matrix at the time, I looked like I was a racing car driver.
Yeah, I can
that's what it
remember.
looks like.
And it was like, who do you think you are? Lewis Hamilton. But no, it's brilliant.
No,
It
but
was
I just
absolutely
thought,
amazing.
for me, someone that's a bit outside of fishing,
Yeah.
like, I thought that was the coolest thing. Like,
It is cool.
It
That-
is cool
that-
because it doesn't happen. It's not.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Not everybody's got sponsors with BMW for like or whatever. But
That's next level sponsorship, though. That's the kind of thing, like, that's a lifeline for me in fishing. I can't help but think, what if BMW got more involved in fishing?
Well, that's exactly what I said before we started. I was like, that for me elevates the sport.
Yes.
You bring fishing into your footballs, your rugby.
That's
Dart,
Yeah.
snooker.
Well, I did say to Toby, we was talking off camera before, and UK champs. I told Toby this. UK
yeah, it's
champs,
mega,
right?
this.
So the last round of the UK champs,
Mm.
I spoke to Sitner Coventry, and I said to him, "Look, would you be interested in sponsoring the event?" Yeah. What do you want us to do? I said, "I don't know." So how about giving a car of their choice within reason for a weekend?
BMW i8.
Yeah. Right. So what they did, the golf course at Barston, two brand new cars pulled up on the on the outside the the nice bar.
Yeah. Overlooking the lake.
Overlooking the lakes with flags and all livered up with my name all over it. Right. Andy Powers won it and he never took the car for the weekend.
You're joking.
No.
It's just.
So I went all that trouble of getting that for someone. Okay, it's only a weekend.
Yeah.
But the trouble they've gone to get the cars there, have them all livered up and stuff like that. We, proud sponsor Grant Albutt, and they can have a car of their choice within reason, not the Alpinas and all that. The i8s. But he could have had a car for 2 days, whatever, and he never took it. So for me to go back to them and go, look, they say, well, Grant, we wasted all that money and no one took us up on it.
That's fishing all over, though,
It
isn't
just
it?
is,
That's
isn't it?
fishing
Like,
all
mate,
over.
imagine what you could go away, take the family out for the weekend, go somewhere nice in a nice brand new. I just again for me on the outside, that's a real incentive for, in my opinion, for kind of younger anglers or whatever. Like, imagine that.
External sponsors like that.
Yeah.
We had a few in angling back in the day,
Yeah.
embassy pairs, that kind of thing. But that is what will take match fishing to next level, and that's
100%.
what'll take
100%.
200 or 300 young aspiring match anglers to, oh my God, Jimmy, have you seen them fishing competitions where we can win a new car?
Yeah.
And that's what will drive, no pun intended, new people into it and young people into it, and that level of sponsorship.
Yeah, like we used to be embassy, the
Yes.
cigarettes and all that. So we was talking about, I can't remember, I was talking with it the other day to someone, but this is the sponsors we need. And obviously, it sort of dwindled, and I never not chased them up on it. But after 3 years, I changed cars anyway, and it sort of just fizzles out. Which
I feel like it's kind of down to us as a angling nation, though, to step up our professionalism a little bit. So, like, What can we do for them? Why can we, as a fishing industry, why do BMW need us? What can we give them back?
Yeah.
And that's what we, ourselves, our big companies, people who are running events, need to go next level professional and say, BMW, I'm going to approach them with a proposal to sponsor the England team. And this is what the Angling Trust and the England team, Tackle Guru, any of them sort of things, this is what we can do for you, BMW, if you support us. And it needs that catalyst in the first place, and who knows where it could end up.
I agree.
So you need to speak to that really good-looking bird.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a few years ago now. That
Right.
but yeah, I agree.
It'd be cool if we could make it happen, wouldn't it?
They won't get involved unless they've got something they can get something out of it.
Absolutely, but it's the affiliation, isn't it? Like we compare to darts, don't we? And but when the sport is affiliated with brands like BMW, it turns more head. More people are watching and pay attention because they might not have heard of Guru or Drennan or any of them, but you can guarantee most of them have heard of BMW.
Absolutely,
exactly,
and that's exactly what it will do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a good time for me. That was really good time.
Love it. What's your sponsorship, Grant? You've been sponsored for a long time by a lot of companies. What's your take on sponsorship? What's it take to be a successful sponsored angler? You've been sponsored by BMW.
I'll probably get ridiculed for it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think it's given away too easy now. You know, when I got sponsored, and lots of other anglers got sponsored, it was for a reason. Not because you were great on social media. And I get the social media bit, don't get me wrong. If he's great on social media, he's getting all these posts out and people saying, but he actually hasn't won anything, right? Back in my day, or her, back in my day, you had a sponsorship because you were good, because you could win, because you were a winner, right? I mean, I had a sponsorship, do you know, I can't even remember how many years ago. It was with Keynets. Keynets were a big brand then. And I was getting $7,000 a year. And I'm going back, whenever I was with Milo Keynets, that was back then.
What, just cash into your bank?
£600 a month.
Wow.
That was a long time ago. You know, and I was probably top end of my game then. I was doing really well, but that was mega then. And I had all my kit for nothing. And then I can't remember how many years I've been with Sandra now, and then I had my clothes. I used to design my own clothing, go and sit with Sandra, and she'd design it. And then she never charged me. And I'm like, so it's quite funny.
She's so generous, Sandra. So generous.
Honestly, she's beautiful. I love her to bits. She's and like when I don't just say thanks. I used to send her bouquets of flowers. Alan would come for it. Where's them flowers come from? Oh, I had them from Grant. Oh, have you? Do you know what I mean? But this time, I had all my new clothing, all my new Drennan stuff and things like that. So rather than send her flowers this time, I sent her a box of wine.
Did you?
Because she's got older now. She likes a bit of wine. No, I said, like, I'd rather not send her flowers because they're going to die. I'd rather her have a drink. So Alan Taylor, my slim mate from Wickersley, he's lost a load of weight, hasn't he?
He has. Big looks well, doesn't he?
Yes,
looks
he does.
Really well.
In fact, I was going to ask him for his old clothing because it probably fit me now. But anyway, yeah. And so Alan sorted it for me. Oh, do us a favour. Can you go and get this? Give me, and I'll pay you over the phone. And he went and got a box, took it for me. You know what I mean? As a thank you. And I've been up there and I've took her out for dinner. Drive all the way up there just to say thanks, take her for dinner. And because she's so looked after me over the years. But I promote it for her. And that's what it's about. It's about promoting the brand as well. But I going back to what we originally were saying, I don't think some anglers know what sponsorship is. Sponsorship is when you get it for nothing. It's not about having a bait deal and paying trade for it plus VAT or getting a pole at certain. That's not a sponsorship. That's just a mate's deal. But what it's doing is taking it away from the shops. The shops are the ones who are suffering. So I understand that people want to get their bait out there and get more people on it. But if the shops aren't buying it for the reason is you're giving it to somebody for free or a deal, why would he want to stock your stuff in the shop? Do you know what I mean? I know that's not great because everyone's trying to get everybody wants people to use Guru. Right? Everybody wants people to Drennan stuff. Right? But if everyone's getting it for cheap price and the shops aren't selling it, where we're going to end up. We're not going to have any shops.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Give someone sponsorship because he deserves it. But give it him for nothing. Don't give it him to who's paying for it. Ain't gonna get. It's not getting us anywhere. I don't think.
No.
I've been lucky, but I feel I've deserved my sponsorship. I've been around a long time and I've won some nice things.
You've won a lot of stuff.
Won a lot of stuff, yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. Like the Ultimate League. That's all gone. That was a fantastic competition.
You won the Ultimate League twice.
Twice, yeah. And that was big money then, 10 grand a time.
Wow.
So I feel that I deserve my sponsorship. I don't pay for anything. That's a proper sponsorship. Peter Drennan looks after me. Like he looks after the other lads. Fantastic.
What's it like working with Drennan and being at Drennan? Because that's a company. Drennan used to help me out massively. Before I joined Guru, I had all Drennan gear.
Yeah.
I went and met Peter and he took me around factory. What a place. Amazing.
Mate. I mean, you showed me around here today. It's fantastic. Same. You could eat your dinner off the floor there. And anything with a blemish, like you get a set of keys and it's got a blemish on it, or a pair of scissors which isn't quite right, you don't go out. They check every single item that comes into that product, and they don't send it out if it's wrong. They just don't get many returns, and that's Peter.
Peter Drennan's been around for a real long time.
It's probably the longest one, mate.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's older than older than Peter, but older than his company. And look how the brand is built. It's massive, and they look after me. They're fantastic. I don't want for anything.
How long you been at Drennan now, Grant?
6-7 years.
Wow.
In fact, I nearly come to you guys.
Did you really?
There's a story there. Rooney offered me a sponsorship.
Wow.
Yeah. And I turned it down. And I'll tell you why I turned it down. Because at the time, you hadn't been going that long and you hadn't got a lot of stuff. And, he offered to pay me and all the rest of it, which was fantastic. But I would have had to use the money to buy rods and reels and poles and stuff like that. And Drennan were obviously, maybe looking at me as well. And I turned it down. And now look at your brand.
Yeah.
But, I don't want for anything. Peter wasn't taking anybody on at the time anyway. Because I'd already approached Drennan and Gary Barkley, he's a lovely man. And I said, look, I've left Matrix. Not happy, like. And he said, look, let me speak to Peter. But anyway, it's nice actually, because Peter, as soon as he told Peter it was me, Peter said, yeah, get him down for a meeting. And took me on straight away.
Wow.
Pete's like one of the lads. Phenomenal. He's a proper businessman and all the rest of it. But he's just one of the lads. Honestly, he's such a lovely man.
Is he still super hands-on?
Yeah, I haven't seen him for a while. I'll be honest, since COVID and all that. He hasn't really been out with and seen anybody. But I was talking to Dean about it the other day. It'd be nice to have a meeting. Like, your lads all have a meeting and, just every now and again all meet up. It's, and hopefully that's what's going to happen. Because obviously Alan's, number one. He kind of works for them now and, he has a big influence there. But it'd be nice, I have said this before, get sponsored anglers together, have a meet up, have a catch up. What's happening? Anyone got any ideas and stuff like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nice. And
you know what? This is a proper weird one to put out on a podcast, but how cool would it be if we could get Peter Drennan in to have a chat about Drennan and his company? And
can you imagine how amazing
that'd be.
I've only ever seen Peter do one interview.
I don't know if he'd do it.
I don't know if he would.
But he'd have some amazing stuff. Imagine hearing about that and how that company got going.
It'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
It would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I reckon like Danny Fairbrass and Damo would love, because they've both got so much respect for what he's done in fishing.
Yeah.
Be really cool.
And so that, and I think a lot of people, obviously I'm not a carp angler, and what just an outsider looking in, why Danny's, and I'm not just saying this because I'm here, trust me, because I think this anyway. What Danny Fairbrass has done to fishing is just frightening. He's took it to another level. He really has. With this, even the Guru, because when Guru come, Alex was here, wasn't he?
Alex Bones, yeah.
And it was only small then, and and like with Rooney now, and I think it's phenomenal what he's done. Phenomenal. Done so much for fishing.
We were walking around the warehouse earlier, weren't we? And Grant's looking up and he's saying, like, ain't it mad to think this has come from selling leads around the lake?
It's mental, isn't
Absolutely
it? Absolutely
phenomenal. What it's not me blowing smoke. What a story. from where from doing that to this. Brilliant for fishing, mate. You know, yeah. But yeah, the sponsorship thing, I think that companies need to look at it and think about the shops more instead of just giving willy-nilly stuff away. Because it'd be like, I walk into a shop, oh, Grant, how you going, mate? Yeah, saying I'm all right. Yeah, I don't need any ground bait today. I've got a deal. What do you mean you got a deal? Oh yeah, I'll get it £2 a bag, and they're selling it for £4. So they've lost the customer straight away, and he'll be selling it to his pals. It happens.
It's diluted. It's very,
yeah.
very diluted, the sponsorship side of things. My opinion is very similar. It's definitely diluted. Definitely diluted. We could have a separate show all about sponsorship, 2 or 3 of us talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
Go off on some right tangents.
It's not helping the shops.
No.
It's not helping the shops. And if the shops disappear, all you're going to end up is with big shops.
What's next for you and your fishing, mate? What you got planned? What you got coming up? Are you going to do some fishing while you're doing Moorlands?
I put in for, obviously, I've got a fish show at my place anyway. I have put in for Todber.
Do not come second.
Do you know what? My goal is, obviously, I'd love to get in that final, whether I won it or not. Just to say, I've been fishing all these many years, I've tried and I've got there. Just to be there for the day would be phenomenal. In fact, I think they should have one for coming second.
Yeah, a runners-up final.
A runners-up final.
I don't think you'd not be happy being in that one.
No, I wouldn't. No. I'm just going to obviously crack on with Moorlands, and like I said earlier, make it the best it can be, and then try and get out and do a bit more fishing myself. Right. You know, it is difficult. It is difficult to get out. I don't like leaving Nicola on her own. So if you've got someone working there, someone as a backup if I'm not there, it is difficult. But yeah, I'll just try and do a bit more. Mega.
I'm going to pick my phone up because I put a little... Oh, excuse me a second. I put a little post on social media earlier of us two sat here, and I always get people to write in a question or two for our guest. I'm just going to have a little look. I put it on Instagram and I put it on... Rita Ora's just texted me. I'll text her back later. I put it on Instagram and Facebook, so I'll have a little look when the old Guru Wi-Fi kicks in.
He's scrolling past all the Showish Willy comments.
Yeah. Shows you, will I? You're going to get so much of that, mate.
That's
you are.
it now. That's coming in it.
Someone's put here, Grant is a great bloke and Moorlands is now better than it's ever been.
Oh, that's nice.
Nicola someone, it is. Let's have a look. What we got? I'll pick a few for you from this one. So this is what everyone's put on in the last couple of hours. That's quite funny. Someone's put, what does Grant think about the recent vote of casters being banned? Isn't that weird how we started the show on that?
Do you want me to answer that?
No. We already have.
We already have, yeah.
This is an interesting one. Should there be a system in place to stop matches clashing? That's from John Williams.
Yeah, like I said, I think people need to get their heads together. Instead of going against each other, when people sit down and go, actually, these are the dates we've got, let's do it together, Saturdays and Sundays, so none of them clash at all. And they get better turnouts, get better attendances. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I don't get is that people book tickets and then don't turn up.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? Spend the money.
40,
35, 50, 60.
I don't get that. We had 4 or 5 no-shows the weekend, which actually cost me getting through.
Wow.
Because I had a golden rule at my... They didn't sell all the tickets, only sold 40, but we did have to change the date. And the other previous 2 have sold out. Anyway, I drew MPEG 20, the far end of High Meadow, and Peg 1 wasn't drawn this end. And Peg 2 chucked into Peg 1 and beat me by £1 again.
Whereas if 1 was in...
Probably might have won the watch anyway, but we'll never know. But what I'm saying is, because that was an empty peg, Peg 2 has then gone and won the match and beat me to qualify. But fair play to the bloke who beat me.
Rob Brennan's put, how long did it take you to win a match at your own fishery? There's quite a lot of banter on this Facebook
Rob's
post.
one of my friends, and it was like the biggest thing, because I've been there at least 2 years. And they're like, oh, have you won a match at your own venue yet? Well, long time ago I did, but yeah, I won one. Did I win it? couple of weeks. That is just taking a piss.
He's got you on it. Look at this. He's put this picture on. That's on the Guru Facebook.
See, they're taking a pic. That's one of them slide on top of your heads.
I'll send you that so you can put it on screen, Toby. There's a lot about the caster ban.
Is there?
Matt Linford's put Grant Albutt, legend, but if he bans casters, there will be war.
I wouldn't ban it anyway. It's not.
Mark Egan says, can you have a go on your quad bike? Let's have a look. All comments, quite a few. Barry Madicott says, are you looking forward to having 60 kids on site for the junior youth cup?
That's a big thing we've got. So he's that Barry. What's his name? Barry
Madicott.
He's running a big thing, and he asked me if I would run it for host the final for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait for that. Because I said to you before, I'm all for kids. You know, I think it's great that we can run matches and get kids involved.
Mm.
But again, we've got to try and you have to ring all the companies to get stuff. See, for me, it's not always about, you don't have to give somebody everything every single time, surely.
No.
It's about entering a competition, not about what you're going to get back from it. You know, if you're going to win the match, that's different, you know, but not everyone can give you prizes every time because then prizes cost money. Do you know what I mean? If everybody give you £1,000, they'll probably claim it back, but even so, you can't expect tackle companies to give you product every time for kids. Because I could be on the same, well, I've got 60 anglers coming the weekend. Can I have 60 packs of hooks free? Where does it end?
It doesn't.
You know what I mean? It's like, we appreciate that we want to try and get more kids into it. And the prizes that they can get is brilliant. But what happens when we can't give them prizes? Are they still going to come? Are they only coming because they're going to get free prizes?
Some of them, I'd argue, yes.
Yeah.
Some of them probably would come anyway.
I mean, every match I've run at Moorlands, they've gone away with a bucket full of stuff. Or or a prize at least. Everybody gets a prize. And this will be interesting to see how this turns out because this is like a new thing.
60 kids there is brilliant now,
yeah,
mate.
Fantastic.
Really
mate,
good.
Yeah. I hope it's really good. I hope everyone gets behind it, the parents and all the rest of it. It'd be really good.
Is it limited to that? Or?
I think so, yeah. There's so many qualifiers, so there can only be so many in the final.
Right.
But no, it's brilliant what he's doing.
James Price says F1s or carp.
Carp.
Why?
I don't think F1s are just doing me head in. 1 minute they're there, next minute they're not. Do you know what I mean? You can be catching shallow 1 minute and then I ain't done anything wrong and they've gone.
Yeah.
Carp are a bit different to that, I think.
Right.
F1s are they're just off their head, aren't they? They're just mad. You've
got both in your fishery.
I've got both, yeah. I mean, we pulled a net through Meadowpool last year, and there were £5-6 F1s. Pristine.
Massive.
Never been caught, mate. What are they doing? Why aren't they feeding?
They are. They're like that. I'm not going to eat that one with the hook in.
They're so clever. Carp every day for me.
Right.
But you've got to have F1s in your lake. You've got to have them.
Of course you have.
Yeah.
I always ask some questions to everyone who comes on podcast. You've probably seen it. I haven't teed you up for these. And we ask for like a spur of the moment, quick fire answer. Everyone gets them the same. And they're coming at you now. Give us an item in your seat box you couldn't live without, Grant Albutt.
Scourger.
Yeah.
How many times have you not been? I've had times where, you know, when you put them in your pocket and you go to get in your box and there's none left in there.
Yeah.
Because you've got them in every other pocket that you haven't got with you.
Yeah.
And then you get a piece of reed.
Au natural disgorger. Yeah.
Yeah. Got to have a disgorger.
Got to have a disgorger. If you could only fish one venue for the rest of your life, where would it be and why? Quick fire questions, these ones, Grant.
Are they quick fire? Sorry.
Take your time.
Moorlands
Farm.
Yeah, because I grew up there and I've ended up there. It was never meant to happen. So I would say, yeah.
Bit of a love relationship.
But yeah, it's
isn't
massive.
There?
You know, it started off there and I'll end up there. So yeah, I would say my own venue.
Love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Who is the best angler that you've ever fished with?
William
Raisin.
Raisin.
That's not a common answer, is it, Toby?
No one's ever said that.
No one's ever said that.
No one's ever said that.
Every single person says it.
Listen, I fish with some fantastic anglers.
Mm.
But the best, I think William is the best in the world.
Mm.
He's just phenomenal. So I've watched him and stayed with him and watch him throw a method feeder or a waggler to the rope on gold with no clip in the same place every time.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
Mm.
He's just brilliant.
What's the best match performance you've ever witnessed Will put in? Bear in mind, you've fished with Will a lot for a long time. Any stick out in your mind?
No, because we're always on separate pegs. We're team events. We're not next to each other. So I can't answer that question. I don't know because I've never really sat behind him on a match.
Mm.
But what I have seen of him, and I've been to World Championships and watched as well, he's just... And don't get me wrong, I know he's been brought up in that environment all his life. But whether you're brought up in an environment or not, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. And he's got it.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, he's the best angler I fish with a lot of great anglers, you know, but he's probably the best.
Mm.
He could go and fish in any team.
Mm-hmm.
He could jump in that feeder team tomorrow
And win. Mm.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Or go on a river, a canal, a lake, anywhere in the world and win.
Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely.
If there's one thing you could change about fishing, what would it be?
I'd take the phones away.
That's an interesting one.
See how people get on without a phone?
Why?
Because they haven't got the knowledge there.
Right.
Take a phone away. Like I said before, if you haven't got social media and you can pick up that phone to see what's going on at my place, you'd have to come and practice. Like we used to have to go and practice. You can pick your phone up now. Fish it. The mobile phone or the technology we have now is brilliant in some respects for business, but as an angler, learning the trade, I think it's ruined it.
What about in terms of mobile phones actually during matches and stuff? What do you think of that?
I don't think they should be. I don't think they should be allowed in a match. I mean, I don't really speak to anyone during a match. I generally don't. My phone rings, I don't answer it. Especially not in team matches. I don't think you're allowed them in team matches anyway.
I don't think you are.
Pretty sure
no.
we weren't back in the day. But
take the phones away.
Take the phones away.
If you had to give someone who's never been fishing before some inspiration to go and try it, what would you say to them?
I'd just say, look, you know, just come and give it a go. You're going to either love it or hate it. Not hate it, that's a strong word, but come and give it a go. You know, and especially for someone who's coming to my fishery, we will put you right. We help people. If you can't get it right, mate, you plumb. You know, we ask them. You know how to plumb. Yeah, no. When I'm coming around the fishery, I'll come and see you. If you're not catching, I'll put you right so you are catching. It's about helping people. It's not about saying, "Oh, go fishing." Help them while they're there as well. Get them catching, because if you get them catching, they'll come back. You know, you got box clever as well. Which I ain't going to put them on medal today. It's a bit moody. I'll put them up on the top. I'll put them on that top light there. I'll catch a load of fish, and they're going to want to come back next week.
Maybe even bring the mates.
Exactly.
Love it.
Helping people.
The most important question of them all, obviously you've come a long way to the podcast. We've talked about a lot of stuff here. Are you leaving us a little gift before you hit the road?
I am.
Are you?
Yeah.
What is it?
You ain't going to believe this. Telling you.
I'm looking forward to this. That's a big grin, that, isn't it?
That's a lovely.
I don't need to start crying.
That's a lovely backpack.
Right.
Oh, we've got an Under Armour backpack on the table here. No!
Oh, no.
How'd you feel about that?
No, you can't.
I can.
Never.
Yeah. I've had him
No.
What?
20 odd years I've had him, right?
No,
Been everywhere with me in my van. Everywhere.
Look at Toby's got his hands on his head.
No.
Right. He's been for every Super League final, travelled with me all over the country.
Put the picture on, Tobe.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, yeah, there's a lot of memories for me and my team.
Wow.
All I say to you is if you ever pack this in,
Yeah.
I want it back.
You can have it back.
Do you know what I mean? But no, that's you can have that.
Wow.
Yeah. But if you if you do decide that you're going to stop doing it, and
gone all shaky.
Yeah.
There you go. There it is.
Do you know what I said to Nicola last night? I said, do you know what? I'm going to give him a monkey.
Flip Flipping heck, Grant.
He's massive in our team. That is like he was the big mascot, like.
And what's the saying?
Hey, monkey.
Hey, monkey. He says it on his t-shirt.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
That has seen a lot
Oh, mate.
of history in match fishing. That monkey.
Done some mileage.
That's done me. That's done me.
So
honestly,
I've got a
What a gift!
I've got a transporter, as you know, and he sits in the passenger seat between. There's like a gap between the two head seats, and he sits in there. He's been in there for. Well, we went from that van to this van.
That's amazing.
20 years old. He's over 20 years old.
Super League wins. Whiteacres Festival wins.
Should have put a Super League medal around him as well, shouldn't I?
That is ridiculous. What a gift.
well, that'd be the new centerpiece for the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put Bennett's fish out jacket on the floor.
Well, I'm going to make you a promise. That is going to be on the table. We've got so many gifts now. We can't always put them all out. We've got some in cabinets. But I'm going to make sure he is on the table every time. That is... What a gift.
It's hard. It was hard. I didn't know what to
mega.
do. I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I think, should I get the missus to make him a cake or something like that? But I haven't really got anything else. And I thought, that's got so much history with me and Dorking, and not just Dorking, but the team and me as well. It's I thought that what a better gift. I couldn't give a better gift away.
No.
Not at all. What a gift.
Amazing. Grant Albutt, that has been a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, mate.
Thank
It's been
you.
brilliant.
Thank you
very much.
You're welcome. Cheers.